A sacred artifact missing from the Jedi Temple. A Dathomiri Night Sister hiding in plain sight in the Jedi Temple. A secret mission into dangerous territory. This just in from Coruscant, where sources report that a joint operation between Jedi and the Republic, led by none other than the famous Jedi Master Olori Greer and Republic Captain Min Apsidy, uncovered the culprit behind the theft of a holocron from the most defended portion of the Jedi archives. Thief and apparent master of disguise, a woman claiming the name Sar Viel, was revealed to have disguised herself as a Jedi Knight for weeks, infiltrated the archives, and shipped the holocron off-world. The joint force, including 2 Jedi Masters, a Jedi Knight, and a Padawan, along with the aid of a small, classified Republic battlecruiser, are about to set off to the undisclosed location where the holocron was allegedly shipped in an attempt to learn more about this plot to decimate the Republic. This reporter is taking the path of most resistance, as she is currently on her way to join the task force before it leaves orbit over Coruscant, which means I will be bringing you more on this story as it develops. This is Gone with the Jedi News Network. Until next time, may the Force be with you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of Fellowship of Light. We're glad to have you join us today. I hope you got the chance to catch the summary before if you weren't with us last time. If not, anytime you type exclamation info in the chat box, it will come up with a little sheet. I'll do that now. That includes the summary of last time. It also has a link to our video summary of last time, so feel free to watch that. It has a link to the last session in case you didn't check it and you want to check it out at some point. That's both on my Twitch still for now, but if it's not later, the video is linked there. Should be all good. We're glad to have you join us this afternoon. So without much further hoopla, I'm going to dive in. We've got a long session today. My players are all itching to get at it, I'm sure. I'm itching to get at it, so we will just carry forward. Now, you'll remember where we were last time. You had just completed things on Coruscant. I'm not going to do a long-form summary, but you just completed things on Coruscant. You'd come back up to the Legla and been greeted, I believe, by Captain Min at the airlock. So that's where we're going to enter today. No time has passed since last session. We're going to hop right in. So the party was just brought aboard the Legla, where they were greeted in the airlock by the ship's captain, Captain Min.
Captain Sokola, you've received a holo transmission from someone at the Republic Special Ops Command. We've relayed it to your quarters.
So Flash will salute the captain, and then he's going to leave to go to his quarters, leaving the 4 of you behind.
We're prepared to make the jump to Korriban. If you would be kind enough to join me on the bridge while we make the jump, Master Jedi, I'd be happy to give you a tour of our ship. Ensign Bonville can join us to add relevant details about his work during the retrofit.
Yes, Captain.
So Captain Min escorts you from the launch bay through a narrow door onto the cramped bridge of the Legla, which you can see here. So let me get things repositioned for the stream. Officers sit and stand at various stations on the bi-level bridge. There's sort of a catwalk that makes up the second level. Noticeably, the ship does not have any physical viewports, which is pretty odd for a ship of this size, but instead the status of the outside world is tracked via several screens that you can see in front of the ship. An Aqualish man seated at a station with several maps displaying on the screen turns to face a Cathar man and says a few things too quiet for you to hear. I will go ahead and reveal a couple of people here, their full portraits, so you can take a look at them. So we've seen Captain Min before, and the Cathar man says, "We're ready to make the jump, Captain."
Excellent. Before we jump, Lieutenant Zakan, this is Master Zahar, Padawan Farg, and Knight Sebastian. Master Jedi, this is my first mate, Lieutenant Zakan Tab.
Pleasure to meet you, Master Jedi. A human woman with bright red hair speaks up suddenly, who's seated at one of the consoles. Captain, there's a Republic shuttle approaching our ship. They're hailing us frantically.
That's odd. Put them through.
So an image appears on the hollow table in the center of the bridge of a woman, and I will allow Meg to describe what this person looks like.
Yeah, so Gom is a human woman. She's very disheveled. She kind of has a lot of equipment on her that you may or may not see right now, but like a recording rod. She's in kind of just regular kind of a cargo outfit. Obviously, she's someone who does a lot of traveling, and yeah, generally very disheveled.
This is the Republic battlecruiser Legler. Please identify yourself.
Hello, I'm Gom of the Jedi News Network, otherwise known as JNN. We're the #1 encrypted content hub for Jedi and Jedi-related content. I've heard tell of your adventures through my various sources, and I'm super interested in joining your crew. Happy to answer any questions, but I'm sure you know of our illustrious organization, JNN.
As this is a Republic battlecruiser, technically we don't allow solicitors. But the reporter appears to be attached to your organization, Master Jedi, so I defer to your judgment on if she should be allowed to join us.
I kind of sigh a little bit, and I see her on the holocron, right? Like the
Yeah.
I kind of like look at her and I just like study her like appearance and sort of try to glean, this like legit, this is trustworthy, news. Do we really want to let somebody involved with the news because this is supposed to be technically very top secret? But I'm starting to think at the same time, maybe she knows something that we don't.
Happy to answer any questions you may have. I've worked with, hundreds of Jedi around the galaxies. We're not exactly an unbiased news network, so I'm very happy to kind of work with all of you and, do over-the-shoulder shots, things like that won't identify you. But my job is really to just show the great deeds of the Jedi. There's lots of people in these galaxies that aren't really super big fans of you guys, and I want to be one of the people to show them how great you are.
You gotta understand, this is not necessarily something we try to show everyone. Like, this is not necessarily our goal, because we are dealing with life or death, and can you hold your own? Can you protect yourself?
Absolutely. I've been on tons of missions that have brought me to incredibly dark, insidious places in the galaxy, so I'm sure that what you're doing is nothing out of the ordinary for me.
DM, this is a separate question. Have I heard of Gom?
So I'm not sure if you would have heard of Gom. However, I'm going to have her actually roll a persuasion check, and I'll have that determine some of what happens here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is under perception if you don't have it. Oh! Whew! All right, so we got an 18 on that persuasion check. However, it is a critical failure. I know this is the first week Gom has been with us, so if you hover a roll, the first die is the critical die, and it's a 1.
Got it. Yep.
But an 18 is a very high persuasion total. So what I'm going to say is that Gom is going at this from sort of the wrong angle. She's trying to protect your anonymity, which in Nir's case, I'm going to say is maybe not what Nir is most concerned about. Nir is probably more concerned about classified information being released, which is not about their personal anonymity, but more about the safety of the mission. However, you, Nir, are very convinced by the demeanor and words of this person that they are trusted by the Jedi. You realize that you have heard of them, so you haven't actually watched the Jedi News broadcasts. You don't know her well. You don't recognize her image, but you remember the Jedi Temple guards talking about like press access and how the only person who's been granted press access to like the temple guard quarters has been the Jedi News Network, and you remember the name Gom might have been thrown around.
Oh, okay. You see a light bulb kind of go off on top of Nier's head a little bit. Oh, all right. I remember the name. Some of my compatriots when I was back in the temple were a really big fan of yours. So you must understand my concern is, classified information and making sure that this cannot, like, key information that we agree on cannot be shared.
Absolutely. Like I mentioned, we're not an unbiased news organization, and like most news organizations, we're very used to cutting and pasting to make stories look exactly how we want them to look. So I'm happy to give you any footage for review or anything that would make you feel comfortable, but I look forward to working with you on this story.
I am happy to agree to the fact that we can review any of the footage.
Excellent.
All right.
Great.
I nod to the captain to let
Great
her
to
on.
meet you.
The only
And you as well.
question I have before this interaction ends. So I want to do one quick revisionist thing, which is, are you actually planning to give the Jedi review of all the footage, Gom?
Yeah.
Which means that on this mission you will not shoot anything live.
Yeah, I think I'm working on like a news package. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure. I was going to say, if this is a fib, I'm going to make you roll con.
Yeah.
Against Nier's con to see whether Nier can figure out whether it's a lie or not. But
Is
if
it
it's
okay?
the truth, then you don't have to roll con. That's totally good.
Well, maybe I have the idea that I would bring up the potential live stream, like if
Sure. I'm
You know,
sure
like
if
later.
you are telling the truth if you intend to review the idea of doing something live before you would do it, for
Yes,
sure.
okay, yeah.
That's still telling the truth. That's just like
Yes.
the option to change your mind after discussion,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
totally reasonable.
Yep.
But okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure because I was like,
Yes.
gotta figure out what's in that
No.
character's head for that. Cool. All right, so it sounds like Nier has decided to allow you aboard, and Min deferred to the Jedi group. So, unless Baz or Kaulo are going to argue, I think.
No, the more the merrier.
All right.
Excellent.
So the shuttle's allowed to dock, and Gom comes aboard alone. The shuttle goes back down to Coruscant. The Legla enters hyperspace bound for Korriban. It's not a short trip. It takes a little bit less than a total day, which means you're going to be on the ship in hyperspace for a little while. And Captain Min will take you on a tour of the ship. There's not a whole lot to see. There's the launch bay you came in on. It's empty. You'll remember that there was a discussion about storing Nalori's fighter here, which is probably why it's empty. There are really cramped crew quarters, 6 people to a room, bunks stacked 3 high. This is not a big ship, and the Republic runs a little bit more like safety and space intensive operation than the Sith do. So in order to fit the number of people required to staff this ship, they have really had to like make efforts to cram things in. And I think we lost T-Bone here, but I'm sure he'll be back momentarily. So, anyway, and there's a weapons level that also has a few escape pods. Notably, there are not enough escape pods on this ship for the number of crew on this ship, which, as you know, it's a refitted Sith ship, so probably does not surprise you that they have not created enough escape pods for the number of people on the ship. But it's something you notice as members of the Republic. You would sorry, I got distracted. You would notice that this is an inappropriate number of escape pods. That's basically all there is to the Legla.
What's
While
the
you
worst that could happen?
Indeed, what is the worst that could happen? While you travel to Korriban, I'm going to give your characters a time to do anything that you would like to do. So if there's anything you've been waiting to do in sort of spare time or any conversations you want to have with each other or anyone who's currently aboard the Legla, I'll give time for that now. And then when everyone feels like they're satisfied with what's going on now, we can skip to the part where the ship jumps out of space to Korriban.
I
I'll just start. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Are you sure? Okay. I was just going to say I would definitely have some meditation sessions with my young Padawan. Just, guided meditation sessions, make sure that he keeps up his training.
Sure.
I'm going to go up to them with my recording rod and get really incredibly close and just start recording them as they meditate.
My peace is disturbed.
Notably,
they don't say anything, but you can see that their face is they're really trying to focus, but they've never had a camera in there and they're following them around, so they're very uncomfortable, but allowing it.
Yep.
notably, they did actually reassign everyone from T-Bone's bunk to different rooms, and they have they've reassigned Flash from his room to T-Bone's room, and they've set the Jedi and Gom up in that room as well. So these rooms, like I said, they're 3-stack bunks on each side. So the quarters that you have, the 6 of you will have to share with each other. So I imagine that this happens in sort of the bunk room where Kahlo and Nier are meditating, and Gom comes in to, set her equipment down in her bunk and just sort of walks up and starts recording.
And you can hear Gom kind of quietly narrating the scene, here you can see a Jedi meditating, which is something that they often do in order to store up their powers and become ready to go.
Nier opened one eye and just meditation has many wonderful properties, not just to be, as one say, ready to go. It calms one mind. It really refocuses you, recenters you.
Great quotes, great quotes.
Kahlo starts snoring a little bit.
As soon as I hear a snore, I just sort of elbow him.
Clearly, there's a lot of work to do with this young Padawan.
I love it. All right, is there anything else anyone wanted to accomplish aboard the Legla during its travel time?
T-Bone would like to tentatively approach Gom and be like, Can I check out your camera? This is awesome.
Oh, you're interested? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I mean, be careful. We don't have too many of these. We're a journalistic organization. Our budget's very low. So just try not to, break it or anything.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Sweet. And so I'm gonna just put it up to my eye and turn it at Gom and say, oh, I can see all of your nose hairs.
Hey, I'm glad you're taking a liking to it. If you want to borrow this anytime, but I'm a team of one, so I'm happy if you want to help out with my stories.
Sure. Yeah. I spend a lot of time making sure that the ship is running at, prime speed and stuff. But on my off time, sure.
Yeah. And it's unpaid, unfortunately, but if that's okay. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Usually if I do a good job with the mechanics, they give me an extra serving of mashed potatoes. Maybe that could be part of my pay.
Oh, yeah, I think that can be managed for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Can you, T-Bone, would you mind rolling a tech check while you sort of investigate the camera? Either, I think there's
Absolutely.
maybe a comms programming or comms repair skill, so if you have either of those, I'll let you use them. Otherwise, just tech is fine.
Okay, cool. Computer programming and repair? I don't know if
Um,
that counts. I'll just do technical.
Yeah, tech is perfect.
Yeah, cool.
Whoa. So we got a 19 there. Nothing on the critical die of importance. So I'm going to say a goofy thing, which is this is technology you've never seen before, but because you're pretty adept with technology, and you're pretty quick with it, you are able to learn something from this new piece of technology. This is a pretty short form campaign, so I'm going to do things that are not traditional in D6 sometimes. And one of the non-traditional things I'm going to do is that you can actually take a +1 to comms repair from now on, as long as you have a place to list that on your sheet. So
Totally.
that's going to help you out. In case the camera gets broken because you've learned a little bit more about it, you might be the one that Gom calls upon to fix it. You'll have a little bit of an advantage. All right, cool.
Is it a +1 or a plus?
+1, not plus a die.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Okay, cool. All right. So away we go with that. Does anyone else have anything they want to do? I think I haven't given Callow and Baz a chance to do anything if they wanted. I know Callow is meditating with Nier, but
I think Baz went to find like a larger space than the room, even though it's a cramped ship to do meditation, but it's like more physically active and is going through like yoga poses as his meditation.
sure. You could probably find space in either the launch bay, since there's no fighter on the actual platform, or in the weapons and engine hold. There would be a little bit more space. There will be people in both of them, but there are probably people anywhere, so
That's
Baz
fine.
is going to have to contend with that. Okay. If everyone is just some light Tai Chi in the cafeteria, exactly. So if everyone is ready, then we will go ahead and make the leap to Korriban. On the way, I'm sure that T-Bone, Calm, and Flash will all have the chance to sleep. And the Jedi will get the opportunity to meditate. They've all said they're doing that already, which is usually what Jedi do, at least in place of most of their sleep, I do believe. Yeah, all right. So we'll skip to the next part. So you're all summoned to the bridge just as you're about to reach Korriban. You emerge from hyperspace and that telltale Star Wars boom. Even though, unfortunately, you can't see the stars around you like you normally could. Most of it is just readings on the screen. And one of the screens brings up an image of what's outside, and you're able to see the orange and brown of the sand and stone of the surface of Korriban.
Welcome to Korriban, Master Jedi.
Almost immediately upon coming out of hyperspace, after things calm down, the ship drifts into place. You hear a loud bang, and the ship shakes frantically.
Report.
A fighter has exited hyperspace off our port side. We're undamaged, but they exited hyperspace so close to us they're already entering the launch bay. Zakan responds.
Lieutenant, take the Jedi and go secure the landing pad.
Alright, so Zakan will take all of you into the sort of launch bay. And as you enter the landing bay, you see this very small fighter with 3 forward-facing sharp fins come to rest on the empty landing pad. Before you even have time to react, the cockpit is open, and Alori actually jumps gracefully free of the cockpit and lands in front of you. An astromech gets jettisoned out of the back of the ship, and Alori's staff also gets launched into the air as the fighter sort of comes to its final rest, and they pull the staff down into their hand, lay it down on the ground, and sort of start to rest on it, as is their natural position. You'll have to forgive my rash entrance, but this is the home world of the Sith, and my fighter is a Republic design. I knew I had to be in the launch bay before anyone could scan my ship. I am fortunate that my droid, FRDO, has excellent astrogation computing.
Yeah, it is. That would have been bad if he messed up a little bit.
Indeed. Bad for all involved, I fear.
Yeah. So welcome to Korriban.
Thank you. We have little time to waste. I assume the holocron from the temple was brought here. I believe I know where on the surface they would have gone.
Are you gonna tell us, or are you just gonna leave us
I
hanging?
mean, they're sort of asking a question like, was the holocron brought here? They you'll recall that they left at the beginning of the last session, and they don't know what's happened. They've made some conclusions clearly, but they're waiting for the dots to be filled in.
Gom is gonna obviously like has a recording rod still, and is just gonna be like, "Sorry, so who are you again? And tell us your interest in our project here."
I'm Master Alori Greer. I believe you've heard of me?
Yes, vaguely, I believe.
So I will say, Gom knows who Alori Greer is. Alori is like a Jedi legend, and though they aren't necessarily well liked, there are very few people who don't know who they are. So you would certainly know who they are. The legends about them, just to fill you in a little bit so you know what your character knows, they sort of like hang out in deep space. They have some weird fascination with Jedi history that most of the Jedi don't understand. And they're sort of like, they're renowned for being good, but the question that divides whether Jedi like them or not is a question of good at what. So they're quite talented, but the Jedi have been involved in this war for most of Alori's lifetime, which is extensive, and you would know that. But Alori's not been involved in the war most of the time. They seem to be extremely successful at the things that they're interested in, but defeating the Sith has not been on the list up to this point.
Got it. Gom is just gonna say, "Oh yes, I've heard of you. I think my colleagues have probably worked with you before. JNN, heard of us?"
I do believe that I encountered someone on the Outer Reaches, probably someone's first assignment. They don't exactly come out to watch me unless they're hazing the newbies.
Well, that's a fair read on the situation.
Right. So Alori will relay to you the coordinates of the place on the surface that they know about. They are going to they're going to say, what exactly happened on Coruscant? Did you figure out who stole the holocron?
We did.
This is basically a quiz. Do you know what happened last time?
Yeah, so it's just sort of relay the rundown since we want to be quick about this. So I sort of like quickly run down, like how we found the person, what we believe was the reasoning, and like what was the outcome, and how that information brought us here. So yeah.
Sure.
Yep. Gallo brings up that the stew was a very important part of the whole saga.
Alori will look at you like a little bit puzzled, but they're gonna let it go. That's fine. They also have been known to like a good stew. What was that?
Has Alori heard of raccoons?
You can ask them.
Nah, that's fine.
Okay. Just gonna say, I'm certainly not in a meta way gonna tell you if Alori has heard of raccoons.
Someone else can.
Alright. So Alori will say, interesting. I fear we will have to impose on Captain Min to land the Legla on the surface. If I've understood correctly, the temple we're going to find, it's going to be well protected, even if the Sith we're looking for have already left it.
Why? What's this temple? What's about this temple?
There's a temple here on Korriban to the Mortis gods, and I believe, from what I've read, that at some point there were trials introduced to protect the temple from outsiders.
Of course.
Okay.
So, Captain Min will agree to land the ship. The Legla isn't a particularly large ship for a battle cruiser, but it is bigger than the sort of thing you usually land on a planet. So it's bumpy on the ride down. You do make it to the surface safely at the coordinates that Alori has given you. And we'll be able to see it here. So you're able to land. There's a stone entrance to an underground area at these coordinates. It's pretty nondescript, and it would be easy to miss, especially on Korriban, which surface is sort of like dotted with temples and tombs and all sorts of ancient artifacty sorts of little places. But you can tell from the sand on the ground that people and a lot of equipment has been through here very recently. Obviously, the wind blows on Korriban as well, so if this were disturbed any amount of time ago, you would not be able to tell. But this is very recent. And on the surface here, other than the markings on the ground, there's really no trace of the people, however. There's no equipment left, no people actively here. You can't hear anything from the underground. So whoever was here entering is not on the surface here anymore, and did not leave anything behind.
We can defend the Legla until you return, Master Jedi. I'd like to assign Ensign Bonville to join you in the temple, if that would be all right. I'll need a member of my crew with you to make this report, and his shooting prowess should help you immensely if you hit trouble. Captain Sokola requested to be attached to your group as well, but I fear I cannot spare him when the Legla is exposed in enemy territory. He's the only soldier aboard capable of advanced fighting tactics, and if anyone finds us here, he may be our only chance at a viable defense. Before you enter the temple, I was hopeful you would be kind enough to stay here with us while we set up our defenses.
That shouldn't be a problem, Alori says. We must prepare ourselves to enter a temple on Korriban as well. This is a place of dark power. I can feel it radiating even from this entrance. It has been a long time since I've spent time with members of the Jedi Order. We would do well to spend some time sparring in preparation for what is to come. And Alori sort of steps off to the side. For the first time, you get a good look at them in their full form, and they activate their staff, which, as it turns out, is a lightsaber, or a lightsaber spear, is perhaps the correct term. It has, like, lines of plasma all along the hilt, save for the two places where there are hand grips, and a blade at the top. You can tell that it's made of cracked kyber, because the blades at the top sort of flicker with that telltale cracked kyber sort of look. The sword that you see them holding here, this is sort of our everything shot of Alori. So the sword is not extended. It actually is activated similarly to a lightsaber. So right now it is just a sword hilt hanging on their belt. But yeah, they're standing here, and they offer to sort of spar with the Jedi here.
Right.
Before we spar, is that writing on the underground entrance just in the image, or is that like real writing?
So it is real writing. However, it is in an ancient Sith language, so you cannot read it unless you have some intermediary knowledge that allows you to, and we can deal with that if you do.
I don't think I do. Okay.
I have made the very foolish mistake of planning a lot of this game without looking at your character sheets and just being like, they might be able to figure stuff out that I don't anticipate them figuring out, but I'll allow it if they do. Yeah, there are Jedi language powers and stuff, and I was like, probably no one took these? Who knows? Let's find out if they can read it.
Definitely don't have the dice for that.
All right.
I would like to, while they're sparring, go chat with Captain Min and say, Captain, any insight on what might be here on this planet? I have never encountered a Sith world before.
It is an excellent question, and unfortunately, it tends to be a quite variable question. My experience with anything Jedi and Sith is that you can never know what to expect fully. But if you're on your wits and thinking about the practicality of the situation, keeping yourself defensive and ready for anything, I suspect they should be able to overcome any sorts of Sith force magics or otherwise things here.
Thank you. I'll do my best.
I know you will.
Great. So if the Jedi are agreeable, Alori will spar with all of them.
Sure.
So Alori takes through, starts with the basic saber forms. They obviously realize there's a Padawan here, and they play to that. They do not have a Padawan, and in your lifetimes, you don't remember any stories about Alori Greer having a Padawan, but they seem to be a pretty good teacher. They're pretty patient, and they sort of walk through things. And here I'm going to do another odd thing for D6 that's like Dirty Pool, and I'm going to do it anyway, which is for the three of you, for this time spent sparring with Alori. Dirty Pool in your favor, not in my favor, to be clear. You may add for free 1 dice permanently to the lightsaber skill for Nier Callow if you would like, or the alter force power, force skill. Either one you can pick. And Sebastian, you can choose between brawling and alter, just because I assume what you are sparring with Alori does not involve a weapon, so what you would be able to learn from them would benefit you in your brawling skill instead of lightsaber.
Oh, that's hard to choose.
Notably, there are a couple things also that you can learn about Alori from sparring from them. You realize from watching them use this saber pike. Saber pike is the wrong word. I forget what the right term for the spear is, but you realize from watching them use this light spear that it is, even though Alori looks sort of older and more reserved, this is a very aggressive weapon. It can attack from very far away. It's not particularly adept at parrying like most lightsabers are. It couldn't parry a blaster bolt back at someone. So if they were to defend themselves from blaster bolts, they would be able to sort of stop the blaster bolt, but they would not be able to deflect it. This is a weapon of someone who wants to be on top of their enemies before they have the chance to fire a shot. You also realize that they have a very particular sort of style that leans into their enemy's assumption that they might be frail. They have this silver gray hair. While they don't look very old, the number of tattoos they have as a Miri Allen would lead anyone that knows anything about Miri Allen culture to believe that they were very old. They sort of lean into an opponent believing that they're old and frail and do things like feign weakness in order to dive in and take stabs. So just a couple things you can learn about Alori from this encounter.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't know a lot about Miri Allen culture, and this is Jonathan talking, not Sebastian,
Sure.
Do they just get more tattoos as they get older?
So the way that it works, and Nier can correct me if they have any disparate information, Miri Allens have a pretty ritualistic culture that honors the Force, and for particular feats, they gain a tattoo. So for someone to have, essentially Alori, every bit of skin that you can see of theirs is covered in tattoos, means that they have accomplished massive feats, or at least they believe they have. It's up to you whether you think Alori has actually earned the tattoos that they wear or not, but they seem to think that they've accomplished any number of feats.
Yep, that's correct.
Gom is obviously has never seen this weapon before, I don't think, so very much like getting close and, panning up and down.
Yeah, cool. Alori, for someone who has been beyond the veil of sort of outer reaches of space for so long, is a bit of a ham. They definitely lean into the camera and are glad to show off.
Can Gom ask what their favorite tattoo is?
Alori will look puzzled for a moment and say, "To suggest that I have a favorite would impose the idea upon the situation that one feat is better than another. Each breath, each step in the grand journey is equally important."
You can see Gom's eyelids starting to fall, and it's like, this person is way too long-winded for news. So she walks away.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to get quotable tidbits from Alori, at least in this setting.
It's true.
All right. So as this sort of wraps up, I've given you all the dice. You can allocate it as you see fit. You don't even have to tell me right now. Yeah. Captain Min will approach your group and bring T-Bone along with her.
Our preparations are complete, Master Jedi. You can descend when you're ready.
Okay. You look to the group and sort of parse if everybody else is ready as well.
T-Bone looks a little bit more serious than he usually does. He's standing up a little straight. He has his hand on his blaster, looking around, very alert.
As you head down into the staircase, you do notice that Flash is positioned on the top of the Legla, sort of hunkered down on one of the corners with his sniper rifle out, sort of scanning the terrain around. So you feel like the Legla is in pretty good hands. You've seen Flash be an adept fighter up to this point. You feel a bit safer getting to leave the ship in his hands.
Yeah.
And as you descend, perfect. Into the entryway, the staircase is pretty short, and you enter a small chamber with a large stone door in front of you. I'm going to reveal Alori's token here, and all of you are welcome to anywhere in the lit area. Drag just your character sheet to make a token here. You can do that while I'm describing the next part, so we have a second here. And basically, as soon as someone hits the bottom stair, so I'll say that Alori goes in front here initially, but you can still be anywhere in the lit area, I don't really care. As soon as the final stair is reached, there's a voice that sort of fills the chamber that's deep and full, and in some bizarre way you almost feel this voice more than you hear it. It sort of rumbles through everything, and it just says, "Peace is a lie. There is only passion." And there are a few moments of horrified silence, and Alori just says, "This is a foul place, tainted by the dark side. Be on your guard against its influence."
Drag my character over.
So if you go to the place with the character sheets, you can click on your character's name and just hold and drag that to create a token. If it's any trouble, I'll do it for you. But they're perfect.
Perfect.
Just because it's a little bit easier if I let you all do it, because it can all happen at once while I'm talking on each map. So cool. And there's just this big stone doorway that is shut in this room and nothing else.
As we go in, can I use the life detection power?
Sure. So what school of the Force is that from? Is it Sense?
Sense, yeah.
Okay. I just gotta read it really quickly. So
In
yeah,
the
make
PDF,
your
it's on
sense
page
roll.
159.
What was that?
Oh, I was just saying it's on page 159.
Oh, cool. Your character can make the sense roll. I think that's all you have to make,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and I can use a character point to give me an extra dice, right?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to do that. I got a total of 10.
Okay. So around you right now, you did not detect any living beings within the radius. I think there is a defined radius, right? 10 meters?
Yeah, 10 meters.
So within 10 meters, you aren't able to detect any living being. Do you wish to keep that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll have you make just occasional sense rolls. Because if you encounter something, me asking you to make a sense roll would inform you that there was something there. So I will ask you to just occasionally make it, but it does go off. So you do collect, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually think out of combat, you can keep it up without a reroll if you enter within 10 meters, based on the difficulty that you achieved. I will respond appropriately without making you reroll, so that's fine. Alright, cool.
T-Bone, sort of after looking around to check that there's no threats in this area, is going to go up to the door and just see if there's any panels or any mechanism.
Sure. You can give me a search or investigation under perception if you would like. Either
Okay.
one is fine with me for this. Right. So that is a 4. You are unable to locate anything that looks like a control mechanism.
Okay.
It's just like a smooth door, right? Just
Yeah.
like there's no crevices or like workmanship or craft. Just like stone.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty austere. There's not much going on here. It is just a basic stone door.
I have a glow rod. I'm wondering if I can use it to see if there's anything hidden that can light up or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you are welcome to shine the light around. There is light coming in from the outside, so darkness is not really a problem.
Okay.
But I'll also let you roll a search
Cool.
or an investigate if you would like, just because anybody that wants to look around can look around. Not trying to prevent that, obviously. Great, a 13. So with that, you feel pretty confident that there's not any sort of mechanism. You can search the whole room and there's really nothing. It is just this tiny room with this big door.
I'm going to go up to the door.
Mhm.
And can I say the second line of the Sith code?
Sure.
Okay. I don't
Do
remember
you-
what it is, but I'm going to say it.
So, the next line your character would know, so I will tell you.
Yes.
Well, actually, roll knowledge for me. What am I doing?
Just straight knowledge?
Just
gay knowledge?
knowledge, preferably, yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything that would be useful here unless you have some sort
10.
of specialization. All right, and nothing on the wild die. I assume you would have told me.
It was a 6, so I get to roll it again?
Oh yeah.
Okay. 14.
All right. On a 14, I will DM you the entire zip code quickly.
Cool.
So that you have eternal access to that.
T-Bone is just gonna absentmindedly say, "Do Jedi feel passion?"
Are you standing across from us? I sort of look at T-Bone. Passion?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think we do in some form, and I think it varies from Jedi to Jedi. Who's to say what passion is defined in a certain way?
How would you define it?
Passion is euphoric, so I would think it's some kind of joy. Something that you feel that is good and you can feel joy in doing. I think that's one form of passion.
That stew in the Jedi Temple.
I'm passionate about the freedom of the press myself.
Do you feel that when you say it, Gom? Or is that just a thing that you say?
I feel it. I definitely feel it.
Do you mind just rolling me your critical die? Just
Yeah.
1d6.
Yes,
If you have a physical one, you can do that, or you can roll it and
I do.
roll 20. Either way.
1.
Oh. Okay. Nothing happens.
Wow!
It was a weak, fleeting feeling. It comes and it goes.
Okay, so yeah, I go up to the door and say, "Through passion, I gain strength." Does anything happen?
Yeah. So when you say that, do you feel it, or did you just say it? Is there any emotion associated with
feel
that
it?
line?
No,
I mean,
I just
you're a
say it.
Jedi, so I'm guessing you don't feel it. But I'm wondering if you're getting into it. If you're getting into it and you're like, oh, maybe this is right.
Nah, I just kind of say it loudly at the door.
Okay, so you say it loudly at the door. It echoes.
Can
Through
I
strength, I gain power. Anything happen?
No.
Can I ask T-Bone
Through
to
power,
talk
I gain
about...
victory. Through victory, my
Oh,
chains are
sorry.
broken. Anything happen?
No.
Okay.
Can I
That's
ask
correct.
T-Bone to describe those mashed potatoes that T-Bone was talking about?
Oh. Gom, you gotta try them. Our cook on the ship, oh my god. She's the most talented. They're really buttery and, a little salty. And then sometimes there's depending on where we've traveled recently, there's a little bit of a spice. There was like a sauce that has a spice from one of the planets that we've been on recently.
Oh, man.
Oh my god, I wish I could remember the name of it so that I could when I go home. Dude, my brother would love these mashed potatoes, and I don't think that we can get that spice on Dantooine, but maybe we do trade a little bit, so maybe I could bring some home with me next time we go to that planet that we were at a little bit ago. Oh my god, it was so good. And then sometimes they make a vegetable with it, and just the texture of the soft mashed potatoes, and then the sauce,
yeah.
and the vegetable, and you put it all on your fork at the same time. Oh my god, it's so good.
I'm going to send this to my food features editor.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you should interview our chef. Yeah.
Can
She's
you
really
roll
talented.
3d6, T-Bone?
Did this passion work for this door?
Yeah, that was pretty passionate.
All right. The door rattles. You hear the stone door rattling as T-Bone is describing these mashed potatoes. It doesn't quite open, but there starts to be a little bit of an opening in the top as it sort of shakes a bit.
Oh my god, does the door also like mashed potatoes?
It seems like it.
I think so. Keep
Yeah.
talking about them. Maybe it'll
Okay,
open
yeah.
more.
What other food do you like?
Other foods. Okay. So, do you guys know about bagels?
I haven't heard of them. What
Are,
are they?
Oh
are
my
those
God, you
different?
haven't
Wait,
heard- So-
are those different from bagels?
I haven't heard of bagels, but it might be the same.
Maybe.
Maybe it's I've heard people pronounce things differently in different places, and so it might be different. But it's like a bread in a round circle, and there's a hole in the bread, and the hole is really important in how it tastes. So you have to have the hole right, and then you cut it in half, and then you can put things inside it. And somehow I don't know how it works, but it's different than normal bread. It's a little chewy on the outside and kind of fluffy on the inside. And my favorite is when you put an egg and some cheese, especially if it's like bantha milk cheese. Oh, so good. And then some leafy vegetables in there, and then like you fry all those things, and then you put it in between, and then you put it in the oven, and it gets all melted, and then it's really good. It's really good for breakfast, but I eat them at any time of day.
It sounds like something on Mary Allen that we have something called donuts. That would be a little bit more like fruity with a little bit of like sugary definition. It's like very good.
Oh, a fruity bagel.
As T-Bone is talking here, he has his back to the door and he's sort of facing you all who are watching his direction, and you get more and more transfixed. The stone door slides open and like rattles open during this discussion of bagels, and you're able to see into a much larger chamber beyond. The next chamber is a lot more like a cave than like a room. And across the room, cutting the floor in half, there's a giant chasm. And elevated on each side of the chasm are posts that rise up and across the chasm sort of create a monkey bar with metal rungs going across.
Callow's really confused and just asks his master, is like, do the Sith really like food? What's going on?
It's, entirely possible. They are people just like us in some other form, and they need something to sustain themselves. So who's to say that they also like food or not?
Wait, are they evil because they're hangry?
Elori is going to look skeptically at Callow and just say, I believe the door responds to passion. And apparently even passion about bagels and mashed potatoes. And Elori is going to casually step through the doorway. And as soon as they cross the threshold, the voice booms out again, and you just hear, through passion I gain strength.
So we have to eat a lot, so we don't do this room on a full. So we do this room on a full stomach. That's what I'm getting. Should we go back for some mashed potatoes?
I think when we get back from the mission, there will be mashed potatoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we each have to say our passions after we step through the door.
No, the door is open.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
If you want to say your passions while you step through it, if Nier thinks that's important, they should do it.
No, I'm good. I talked about the passions in general, so I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Gom will say, I think we need to talk about, our mashed potatoes and our bagels and our freedom of the press so that we can get enough strength to go on these monkey bars.
Wait. You guys know about monkeys, but you don't know about raccoons?
Everyone knows about monkeys.
Oh. Cool.
The mention of raccoons angers Callow again.
I'm going to say, we actually just did a video about raccoons, and it got a ton of clicks, like millions.
No
Our
way.
advertisers were so excited, yeah. I mean, it's an animal. Everyone loves animals. That always does well, content-wise.
Callow just mothers to himself, is like, what are with humans and raccoons? What's going on?
Can I look at this monkey bar? It's like as what we think of in the kids' playground on Earth, where it's basically monkey monkey bars.
Yeah.
They're not flat. They're rounded bars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the only noticeable difference between what you're thinking about and monkey bar, like children's playground monkey bars, and these ones, they're like two things that are a little bit different. One is they're spaced further apart than your traditional set of children's monkey bars, and this is about double the length of what you would find on a nice sized playground.
That's super valid.
It's over a giant chasm.
Yeah.
Normally have playgrounds.
I don't know where you played as a child, but where I grew up, no.
Is it a thing to use the Force to see how sturdy something is?
I
Can I
will let
use
you
the
roll a
Force?
sense check, sort of in place of perception. Yeah.
Do I even have a sense? Oh, I do have sense. Okay. Yeah, I just want to see, like, sort of like, as if I would be, like, using my hands to, like, rattle it to see how sturdy it is. I'm going to use the Force to kind of do it to the whole thing and kind of get a sense of, like, kind of hold people, kind of, is there a fault in this thing that could be dangerous?
Sure. So you can roll a sense check.
How do I do that?
Just however many dice you have in sense, you can roll.
So it's two, I think. I just put the number 2 in it, so I assume that's 2 dice.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just 2d6. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Not great. 6.
Okay. You reach out with the Force. The structure before you is not a particularly complicated thing. You're able to feel it. It has good structural integrity. It was well built. But the sense check will also grant you the knowledge that this is a pretty difficult feat of strength to climb across this.
How tall are the bars? Like, how high up?
Off the level of the ground, 6 feet. The chasm you cannot see the bottom of. So if you get in the middle, infinitely high up as far as you're aware.
Sounds good.
I kind of like kick a rock or throw a rock into the chasm and see if I can hear it plunk on the ground.
Sure. Roll me perception.
11.
Okay. The rock, you hear it smack against the sides a few times, and then you hear nothing else. And you're confident that you have attuned your hearing here. So the bottom of this chasm is not at such a range as to be able to hear the rock hit the bottom.
Pretty deep.
I'm gonna say to T-Bone, the way you feel about mashed potatoes is the way I feel about my mom's. My mom's started JNN. People don't know this, but they're so fearless and tenacious, and they saw how awful the Sith are and were, and they wanted to create something to shed light on the Jedi's great deeds. And when I think about them, what can I say? I'm passionate about them.
That sounds lovely. Are they good at monkey bars?
Yeah, they are. So that, I thought of them, right when we got in here, and I'm just feeling so amped up thinking about them. I want to make them proud.
That makes sense. Do you want to lift?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. And I'll stick my recording rod in my pants. But obviously the camera's still out. And yeah, I'll try to start going on the bars.
Yeah, sure. Roll me a strength check. All right. So Gom gets boosted up to the bars by T-Bone. That's a 13. Nothing on the wild die. And Gom starts swinging across. She gets into a good rhythm. and she swings across the chasm to the other side quite successfully. So, Gom, you can move your token to the other side of the chasm if you would like.
Yes.
Um,
Still in the other room. Okay.
All right, so you make it across. There's a small staircase descending into something below here. If you want to go alone, I won't stop you, or you can wait for the others to get across the chasm, and then I'll reveal more.
I'll wait.
All right.
I'll go next, but I'm going to take a moment to sort of like meditate and sort of calm my nerves a little bit, and just hope I don't fall as I go across.
Sure. So you can roll me a strength check. Do you have like are you trying to do anything with a force power when you say you calm yourself? I know there are like a couple force powers that like buff you.
I have concentration.
I forget what it does, but it might be helpful here. Let's see.
Yeah, it clears all negative thoughts, field of force through the universe, concentrates on one specific task at hand. Yeah, I can add four dice to any one action that round.
Yeah, cool. So you can roll your control to cast concentration. I suppose cast isn't quite the right word for a Jedi power. To use concentration.
Does using this control dice also have a wild dice?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, 10.
And nothing on the wild die?
But I got a 5 on the wild die.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So a 10 meets the threshold for the power.
Great.
The DC that I set in my head. So if you're going to climb across these monkey bars and that's what you're focusing on, you can roll a strength plus 4D.
Awesome. I'm probably this is probably overkill, but let's just try it. Oh, I rolled a 6 on my wild die. Yeah, that's a lot. 9, 13, 15, 16, 22, 24.
All right. So you swing across quite artfully, in fact. You swing across the chasm. Gom got it done, but Gom didn't do it with nearly the flair. Nier swings across. They're like skipping bars, pushing forward. There's a little flip at the end as they land on the ground gracefully. You can tell me exactly what the landing is like if you would like, Nier, like what it looks like when Nier lands on the other side.
The bar is like 6 feet high, so they're like 5'8", so it's not necessarily a big drop. But they will like sort of like swing back and then forward and land on the ground, sort of do like as they land, their arms are out, sort of like a bow almost, but they straighten up and sort of like brush off invisible dirt on their robes and compose themselves.
Perfect. All right. So Nier is across. You can move your token across.
Great.
I guess Callow should follow. And
Sure.
he's gonna do the same. He's gonna concentrate.
All right. Roll that. I think it's a control check, right?
Yep.
All right.
I got a 9. Nothing on the wild die.
All right. The 9 will beat the check for this. So you may roll your strength plus 4D.
Can I roll climbing or / jumping?
You will need to convince me what Callow does particularly to make this climbing instead of like raw strength. If Callow has a technique that makes it climbing, I'll go for it. Yeah.
I would be happy to lift Callow up above the bars if that's helpful.
That's all right. I guess so. He's kind of more jumping, like bar to bar when he's like going through. So he's like going to arc and then jump to the next one. He's I don't know.
I'll buy that. You can roll jumping
Okay.
plus 4D.
Okay. All right. So jumping. What?
Somehow that's not hooked up correctly. Do you have the D and the die code?
I do not. Okay. No.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
And actually roll an additional D6 because you got a 6 on your wild die there. So we've got a 14 right now.
No D6. And then I gotta roll.
19. All
Gotta
right, well,
roll the
that-
4Ds. Oh, sorry.
What was that?
I had to roll the additional 4D on top of that.
Oh, right. Okay.
my powder
So
one.
that is a 31. So feel free to tell me what that looks like. If
He's
Nier
basically
showed Gom up, Kalo's about to show Nier up.
he's basically skipping a ton of bars. He looks like a monkey swinging from branch to branch very quickly. And on the way down, he does the superhero pose and lands.
As he sort of, when he lands, I like patted his shoulder and said, "Good job."
All right.
Okay. I'll go next, and I'm not going to use concentrate, so I can keep my life detection up.
Sure. So you can roll a strength check for me.
I got a 12.
All right. So Nier and Kalo have both just done artful displays of acrobatics. Sebastian's journey across the chasm can be more described as getting the job done. Each run gets hit. There's no flare, but Sebastian gets across.
And I still don't detect any other life? Or do you want me to roll again, or?
No, you don't detect any life
Okay.
there.
I'll offer to boost Alori up.
Alori will accept that politely. They're a very tall person, so it's not much of a boost, but they're polite, and will accept the boost and grab onto the bars. Let me get their stat sheet, because I foolishly did not have it right in front of me. Doot. Alright. Gonna see how this goes. Lol. Alright. They do a similar thing to Sebastian in that they just get the job done. Alori has some flair sometimes, but there's no camera on right now. And they make it across. Alright. T-Bone has been left on the other side alone.
Alright, I'm gonna go.
You can do it!
Can you tell me how, like, if I roll really poorly on this, do I get to decide to add a character point or something like that, or do I need to decide that in advance?
So you can decide to add a character point when you see your roll, but you can't let me tell you whether you meet or not. At the point
Got
that I
it,
told
okay.
you whether you meet or not, you're not allowed to use a character point. But I can pause after you roll and let you decide.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, sure.
I'm really worried T-Bone's just gonna fall into this chasm. But so just a strength check.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will use a character point.
Sure.
Does
So
that
you get a
add
9
one?
here? Yeah. So you can just roll a die. All right. So T-Bone's Republic training kicks in. He hops up onto the bars. Feels like the training course back in boot camp. And he makes it across, so you can move your token to the other side. And then you are all aware that there's this small staircase that sort of descends into the next area. I will reveal some of it for you.
T-Bone is gonna pull out his blaster and scooch by Gom just to make sure that he can clear the area.
Sure. So you can put T-Bone down first. Do you want T-Bone to go around the corner, sort of ahead of everyone?
Yeah, with like a little check.
Sure. Give me a perception check here.
Okay.
All right. Nothing on the wild eye there. You don't hear or see anything. You are able to tell the rest of the staircase is empty, though you can't ascertain much information about the room beyond.
Sounds good.
Let me reveal a little bit here.
I'm gonna go
Oops.
up like behind T-Bone to see if I can detect any life.
Sure.
Got my camera too, like right behind T-Bone's shoulder.
So you do not, you're not able to detect any life here. And now that I think you're sort of all crowded around this corner, all right? So if you make the corner, I will reveal the rest. All right.
Yeah.
So T-Bone takes a step forward. I actually don't like the angle that I did that at. Let me see. There we go. It's a little bit better. So you're able to see into the room beyond. It's empty. I didn't quite reveal what I should have. This tool is a little bit finicky sometimes. Okay, there we go. Cool. So you reach the bottom of the stairs and you find another small chamber. This one is barren and silent, save for the elaborate stone throne sitting in the center of the room, facing another small stone door. Just as the first person hits the bottom of the stairs, you hear the voice rumble through the temple again. Through strength, I gain power. So yeah, and there's a small stone door blocking the way that the throne is sort of facing. There's the throne in the middle of the room. Otherwise, this is about as austere as the first chamber that you entered. Alori will go down with you as well. Sorry that I keep forgetting to control them.
Can I sense any like especially dark force or anything from the throne?
These like set of trials are permeated with dark side power, but there's not anything. You can feel like a little bit of power radiating from the throne.
Is there anything like unique about the throne?
The throne is certainly like distinct in the force from the rest of the room. There is some power about it. Yes.
Okay.
There's a door in front of this phone, right?
What was that? Sorry?
This is the door in front of the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Alo's going to
be the one to
inspect
sit in the throne.
All right. So Sebastian sits down in the throne.
That was the question. Who's going to be the one to sit in the throne?
Okay. I didn't hear correctly. That's why I asked.
You see Nier like sort of like shaking their head, like the experimentation seems very tempting, but this is a Sith temple. Remember, only bad things will happen. I think it looks can be deceiving. It could be just a chair, but this is a Sith temple.
Alori will say, "It is certainly not just a chair, but in order to progress, someone probably must sit in it, or we have to find another way."
Well, what is this door in front of us? Is there another way? Is there a way to open this?
Each of these chambers seems to be activated by an element of the Sith code. In the first chamber, one must be passionate to get the door to open. In the second, one had to be strong. In this chamber, one must have to exhibit some sort of power.
T-Bone's gonna pull like a multimeter out of his bag and say, generates a little bit of power.
Put Put it on the throne, see what it does.
What is a multimeter, out of curiosity?
A multimeter is like a tool that you can use to like measure voltage or current or resistance. And in order to measure resistance, has to generate a tiny bit of power, basically.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can test the throne for power if you want to.
Okay. So I'm gonna take the two leads and put one on one arm, like arm bit, and one on the other arm bit, and like see if anything happens.
So there's no
stone
voltage
chair.
reading.
I'm gonna turn the knob and I'll be like, oh, maybe it's alternating current.
There's still no voltage reading, unfortunately.
Maybe your current setting's too high. Try to read for a smaller current.
Oh yeah, okay. Let me turn it down. Yeah, we're looking at milliamps. Yep, still nothing.
Gom's gonna say, I think one of the Jedi need to sit here, or at least they should. The whole world is watching through my camera, so, or will be watching, pardon. So, maybe a good time to show your strength.
Yeah.
Gallo's going to inspect the stone door to see if there's anything special about it.
Sure. Can you roll me search or investigate?
Okie dokie.
Or if you have some particular way you're looking at the door and you want to convince me of a skill, I'm open to that as well.
Oh, man.
You don't have
Okay.
the D in that code either, do you?
I gotta add a D to everything.
Question mark. Never mind. Moving on. You got a D6 there on the wild die, so roll again. We've got a 12 so far. You can just roll another die. That is. All right. So 14 is the total. Great. So the stone doorway seems very similar to the first stone doorway in that it's smooth. There's not really any control. You suspect, much like the first room, that it's linked to some sort of like force detection, not to anything electronic or operable. However, this door looks a lot frailer than the first stone door. The first stone door was sort of like massive. This appears to you to be like very thin stone. It might even be in ill repair.
Callow's gonna whack it with the lightsaber, see what happens.
Alright, so describe what whacking a door with a lightsaber looks like, but I'm all for it, but I need you to describe what exactly Callow does.
Callow just like unsheaths his lightsaber and just like he's gonna like kind of use it like an axe almost, where he's just gonna try to stab it a little bit into it to see if it cuts.
Sure, roll me your lightsaber skill, please. Jesus. So you have a critical failure, so we're going to subtract the wild die and the highest die. So we'll subtract 7 from that total to get 16. What is the difficulty of the lightsaber? Is it difficult? I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, this is the least difficult of difficult situations because you are hitting a stationary object that is not going to fight back at you at all. So we'll give it a 16 difficulty rating. You hit a 16, which means you hit it. So you succeed on your lightsaber check. And your lightsaber does cut cleanly through the door. The door is not opened by the sort of motion that you described. However, you have figured out that the lightsaber can be used to cut the door. So lightsabers are very clean weapons with the way that they cut. So what you've done is essentially cut a lightsaber width slice through the door. But because you described the motion as sort of like a downward, it's just like a slice.
Yeah.
However, that's information for you.
Okay. I'm gonna peek through the other side to make sure there's nothing on it.
So what you're able to see is a staircase that descends further. You can see until the turn through the little slit in the door, but not any further.
Can I continue slicing a hole and push those stone through?
Yeah, I will let you do that on the same check. I'm going to assume if you could use the lightsaber to smash at the door, you can probably continue with a cutting motion. So you're able to cut an opening large enough for people to get through. And Aloria is just going to say to Nier, rash but inventive Padawan you seem to have.
I mean, he certainly thinks of alternative ways that one might not think.
Aloria is also going to say, do you, Nier, do you happen to know the, like, name of your master? Have you invented someone? Okay, that's fine. I probably wouldn't have in your shoes, so I'm not, like, suggesting that you should have. But Aloria is going to reference your master and just say, it is a custom amongst Mirialan people to take other Mirialans as Padawans when possible. Whenever you were becoming a Padawan, I was called, but unfortunately, my forced calling to participate in the work of the light detained me in the Outer Rim, and I could not come back to be your master, though it seems that you were well trained in my absence.
Who knew what stories would be told if I was your Padawan?
Well,
But I'm glad to have met you now instead.
I'm glad to have the opportunity to work with you now as well, Nier. Now, your Padawan has made the way. Let's continue on it.
Indeed.
Aloria will actually walk through the door first. He will climb through the opening in the door and sort of walk down. They will clear the area in front of you and walk all the way down to the bottom. I assume other people sort of file in behind.
Yep.
As soon as they hit the bottom step in this room, the voice booms again, and you just hear, through power, I gain victory. And in this room, it's a very, very small chamber, the smallest room yet, made of even smaller by the presence of a raised stone platform in the center, which is this different colored octagon we have here. It's raised about 0.5 meter off the ground, and it's about 3 meters in diameter, as you can see. On the far side of the platform, there stands an inactive blue-plated droid. I think I have that on the... Yeah, it's visible. Cool. Yeah, that's what's in this room. And the door is behind the droid, behind the platform, and it has a couple of chains, like, lashed across it, holding it shut, in addition to just being a massive stone door. I revealed enough of that. Cool.
Is that more Sith writing on the pedestal that no one can read?
It is Sith writing, yeah.
Okay.
What can I learn from the droid from not close up? Learn about the droid.
I will let you roll. Do you have droid programming in repair, or?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah, you can roll that, and I will in my head assign a higher difficulty because you were far away to what you can learn. 13, we'll have that meet, and you are able to tell from the droid that it's very old. It does appear to be a model of droid. You can tell from the engineering that it was certainly made for, like, hand-to-hand combat, though notably it does not have any weapons. It is inactive. You can discern that from here, though you don't know what triggers the activation sequence, so there's no guarantee that inactive is the state that it will remain in.
So I'm just going to say, be careful of this droid. I think it's made for fighting.
Do you think there's a test we must complete?
We should maybe disable it. I don't
Gom
know
is
about
going to
that.
go up and tap the droid. Gom is a bull in a china shop. It's just what Gom is.
From what side will Gom... Are you, like, climbing up onto the platform to tap it? Are you, like, sneaking around behind? What's the move?
I'm going to sneak around behind and try to, like, tap its head.
Okay. So if you sneak around behind and tap its head, nothing will happen. It will just stay there. It clangs as you sort of tap its head.
Can we
Okay.
disable it?
Yeah, after seeing Gom interact with it and not have, I don't know, not have it activate, I'm going to try to go over and I'll take out my toolkit and see if I can find out if there's any bits that would, I don't know, shoot lasers. And then
Sure.
also just, if it has like arms, maybe remove the arms.
Sure. Yeah. So can you just use your token to show me where you're positioned here?
Yep, I'm going to go over here.
All right.
Or
Cool.
over here.
So you can sort of work on it. Now I'm going to have you roll two things. I'm going to have you roll dexterity, just raw, and also droid programming and repair, or droid, they're the same thing, right? Programming and repair, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
That's dexterity. I got a 6. And then droid programming and repair. We got a 25.
All right, so you start to work on this droid, and it's going pretty well. You take a good look at it. You actually manage to get one of the arms off of it. However, in part of your movement, as you're sort of like leaning, you stumble a bit, and your elbow strikes the platform. And the next thing you know, you're sort of like tumbled up onto the platform. And the droid activates and sort of springs up. You can roll your perception, just Casey, for me. Let me see where I am.
That's a 6.
Well, we'll see. All right. So you will be able to act first. So you realize this droid has activated. You know it's a combat droid, and you have the advantage here. So you can do something now.
Okay, I would like to try to break the other arm or something like that.
All right, sure. How do you plan to do that? Like with what? You're gonna just like grab it, or
Yeah, just with like brute force.
Sure.
And maybe like see if I can, if there's like a joint or something that I know is weaker.
Sure. There's no part of this droid that's particularly weak to tampering while it's active. Unfortunately, it was designed like that. So you are going to you're going to need to roll brawling for this, which I think is under dexterity.
Strength.
Is it? It's
Strength.
under strength. Yeah. Sorry.
So I
So.
got a 12.
All right, got a 12. It is going to like throw up its arm in order to try to defend itself from this. 25.
Oh boy.
So it deflects very neatly against your hand coming in to grab the arm. And then it is going to take that arm back and take a swing at you. So you can roll to react with Brawling Parry if you would like. You will roll at a 1d disadvantage because it will be your second action in this round. Or you can let the standard difficulty, which is very easy, be the thing to hit you. It's up to you.
I will roll with Brawling Parry with a
Sure.
disadvantage, and that'll just be a 1d.
Sure.
Oh, I
You
got
get to roll it again. That's the wild die.
And a 1.
All right. So you get a 7 to try to parry. You throw up your arms as you see the droid swinging at you. This droid is incredibly strong. It rears back, throws its fist into you. It makes contact even though you've blocked it. It is going to roll damage. And you will roll your strength to resist it. No dice disadvantage on the strength.
13.
All right. So, despite the fact that it made easy contact, this droid's luck runs out with the damage. The fists that you've put up to sort of block yourself while he does make full contact, there's nothing defending you from this blow. It essentially does nothing to you. T-Bone is a big guy, I believe, right? So T-Bone sort of just like tanks the blow, gets thrown back a little bit, but is no worse for the wear, really, in any consequential way. You know, some probably superfluous cuts on the arm, but otherwise, nothing. And then it will be your turn again.
Oh, okay. Can I also say, a little help?
Yeah,
And
the rest
then-
of us just not involved in this, or
You can try. I will let all of you act if you would like.
I am just gonna try to pull out my blaster if I can,
Sure.
and sort of take a step back to like this part of the platform, the other side,
Sure.
and take a shot.
Sure. Go for it.
Okay. Do I get disadvantage because I'm very close to it?
No, actually, it's like the opposite in D6 Star Wars.
Awesome.
This is point blank, so it is the easiest possible shooting check in the game.
Fair enough.
All right.
Ooh.
The droid is going to try to dodge to make it more difficult because it's essentially so easy if it doesn't attempt to dodge.
Yeah, I got a 6 on my wild die.
So you can roll another D6.
Oh.
So we got a 15 so far on the blaster check. 20 total. Cool. It does not miss. So it tries to dodge. Not nearly quickly enough, though. T-Bone pulls out that blaster, fires a shot before that droid really has a second to think. Can you roll me the damage on the blaster?
Yeah. Oh shoot! I did this a little bit wrong. I should have had one less die.
We'll call
Is
it good. You were well above any
Got it, okay.
ability that droid had to.
Fair enough. That's a 13.
All right. So the droid, as you take the shot, gets sent skittering backwards. It falls off the platform and sort of collapses. And the chains over the door snap and fall to the floor. The door starts to rattle open, and you hear the voice rumble again. "Through victory, my chains are broken." And with that, you are able to access the room beyond. That is a separate map, and this seems to me to be an ideal time to take a short break. So if you don't mind, we will be back at 4:50. Does that sound good to everyone? All right, and we are back. I'm going to pull us over to the next map. We've got nothing hidden on this map, which is going to make things easier. However, it means I have to show you where the tokens start, which is in the top left. So that door, we've flipped the direction of the map, but you'll be right up here is where the door comes out. I guess I can do that, and hopefully it will show you. I'll describe this chamber in a second when I get things situated. There's a lorry. Okay. Alright. So you enter a huge chamber where the platform you've entered is near the top of a long staircase. You can see it sort of spiraling and crisscrossing down to the bottom. Half of the chamber is like sort of built up over this huge chasm, so the like black area that you see is all a chasm that goes down as far as the eye can see. And down here, there's a massive stone doorway you can see at the bottom of the staircase, but you can sort of see that it's built between these large stone pillars. And yeah, that's where you are.
We see that this is just basically the edge of the platform.
Yeah, so, yeah. I drew this a little bit, I was trying to, like, find a way to show the height, so I drew it a little, like, what is it, like, orthographically, where you can see some, like, angles on the height.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
So, yeah.
Cool.
It also doesn't
Can you
line
get
up 100% on the grid, so forgive me for the areas that don't line up on the grid. I drew it over a grid that has a different pixel size for the width of the lines than Roll20 does, and I learned my lesson.
just off. Can we get a sense of like how high this platform was, like from
Yeah.
the solid ground?
Actually, that's an excellent point. So, I have some like goofy. Someone just did a drawing. Am I on the right?
I'm sorry.
No worries. I'm wondering why it won't let me select it. There we go. Cool. So there are little markers. I'll highlight one right here. Each platform has an assigned height. 0 is the ground floor. 80 is where you're standing, which is the highest point. And you can see those little black circles on each platform. Will tell you how high it is. The staircase has a run and rise of exactly 1 meter so that I keep things as easy as possible. So you cross 1 meter of staircase, you go down 1 meter. So anyway, there's also a goofy, so I did an absurd thing, and I'm not going to apologize for it, which is, in order to measure distances on a height map, I made it easy. If you type #distance in the chat and hit enter, it will ask for your height. So right now you're at 80. You can see that that's your height. If you wanted to know the distance to the platform at 60, you would type in... Oh, does it not give you all access? No! Let me...
Oh, wait.
Let me see if...
Did something.
Oh, it did? Not so far. Let me look really quickly to see if I can visible to players. Oh, all players. Save changes. Try now. Sorry. It should come up with 3 prompts that you can type numbers in. There you go. Yeah, beautiful. So basically, I coded the Pythagorean theorem.
So what was it?
So it's #distance or # distance, pound distance, whatever you want, whatever area you're from.
And then your height is the height of the whatever
The
we're on.
platform you're on, yep, the height that your target is on, and then you can measure distance normally, so you can use the like ruler to measure like that's 13 to get the distance between the two things. It's goofy. We probably don't have to use it too much. If it becomes clunky, we'll stop, I'll guess. But just in case, I did put that in. It's a goofy tool. Is it not working at all, Kara?
It's doing weird pop-ups
Oh.
when I put in #distance and put send. There's an input value module pops up and it asks for my height,
Yep.
my enemy distance.
Uh-huh. So it's the height that you're on, the number of the platform you're on. So right now you're on 80. If you were aiming at something, it would be the height that was on is the enemy height. So like, let's say that we're down here, it would be 68.
Okay, so 68. Okay, submit. And then input
And then
value
distance.
8. Distance.
So
So
it's like,
14.
yeah, 15, let's say 14 or 15. And then the number that pops out, you're 19 meters from them.
I see.
It's goofy. Sorry. If it's annoying, we'll ignore it. Anyway, you're in this grand chamber. Nothing's happening so far. I'm probably not going to surprise you with the fact that there's a battle that's going to happen here at some point, or could happen, because I've just given you a prompt that says enemy height, but also I've drawn a huge gridded map that you're allowed to see all at the beginning of, so I don't think I'm keeping many secrets. If I am, I'm not doing a great job of it. But nothing's happening right now.
Cool. Shall we proceed?
Let's do it.
Sure. And still nothing on life sense or life
Nothing
detection?
on life sense right now. Nope.
Okay. Before I get up to here, can I like crawl on the ground and peek over, see if there's anyone down here?
Yeah. I mean, you can see that platform from above.
Well, looking down is, what do I say?
So looking down, there's nothing in sight. Do you want to tell me specifically where you're looking? If you're
Like,
looking to see anything
down towards the
particular.
door?
Oh,
Or,
down
like,
toward the door.
up?
Sorry. Okay, I
Down
didn't
here?
understand. Yeah. So go ahead and roll me just a raw perception there.
8.
Okay. So with an 8, there's nothing that you can see down there. You see some boxes, like some crates next to a door. They're 80 meters below you, so it's not the optimal range for vision in low light.
Okay.
Okay. I take one step down the stair and pause and see if there's any change.
Nope. Everything seems pretty sturdy.
Does it look? Do the stairs look like? It feels sturdy, the one that just stepped on, but in general, do the stairs look like they're well built? They're not like rickety over or aged over time.
Yeah, so they're all solid stone. There don't appear to be many cracks or what have you. They certainly could be altered to be destroyed without too much difficulty. They are like not terribly thick. They're about a meter thick. But it does not look like there's any risk that like the weight of people will collapse these stairs.
Okay. Okay. Keep proceeding carefully.
Sure. Glory is going to join you walking down the stairs.
Mm-hmm. And I guess everybody else.
Glory will start going down the next set as well. They're curious about the statues. They sort of connect.
Gom's feeling a little impatient. You know, there's not much happening, so Gom will just kind of say, hello? Into the void.
Sure.
What up,
You
Gom?
hear it echo from the chasm.
Can you tell us more about the statues?
Yeah, so there are some stone statues. Just pause for a second here. Not too much movement because I do have to track where everyone is. But there are some stone statues lining against the wall. They seem to be hooded figures like traditional Sith statues. They match sort of the aesthetic of the rest of the temple. And Jonathan, as you're walking down this staircase, something goes off and you realize that there's at least a non-force sensitive being within your radius of detection. It seems like they're somewhere amongst the statues.
Okay, I relay that information to the group. We got a baddie ahead.
All right, go ahead and roll me. Are you trying to conceal that you're saying that? Or are you saying it like quietly to the people beside you? You like yelling
Saying
it
it
out?
quietly to the people beside me.
Go ahead and roll me a sneak check for that.
What the fuck's my sneak?
Sneak is under perception if you don't have anything in it.
Okay, I do not.
Okay.
12.
All right. With that, the person hiding amongst the statues becomes aware of your location, and we will enter combat. I am not going to have people roll initiative because the enemy faction will get to act first. Because they were able to detect the fact that Sebastian was like, somebody's here. So they will get to act first as a result of that. I have 4,000 loose papers in front of me. I have to get the correct ones up here. And which one of them is going to act first? Oh yeah, definitely this one. Cool. So concealed behind this statue right here. I don't know if I'm pinging the right layer. You see a Sith trooper. She's going to lean out from behind the statue, and she is going to prep a couple actions and take her first one. And that is going to be to fire a blaster at
Don't shoot. We mean no harm.
at Sebastian, who noticed her presence, because his is the voice she heard. So he's going to be the first person that she takes a shot at, because she's going to sort of make the shot based on sound initially before she even ducks around. The distance that she is, there's essentially no height involved in this. So it's going to be a close shot, a short-range shot, which is easy. Made a little bit more difficult by the darkness. That's not a problem. Yeah, and so she's going to make the well, I shouldn't say. Are you going to react to dodge, Sebastian?
Yes, I will react to dodge.
Okay, so you can roll dodge.
$17.
All right. So the shot rings out from behind one of the statues. That's your first awareness that someone is there. And then Sebastian sort of jumps wildly to the side on the staircase, and the shot just flies by and sort of ricochets up into the higher portion of the cavern. So he does not get hit. And then another person will reveal themselves to be hiding amongst these statues.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Are Sith troopers like Sith themselves, or what is their kind of?
So perhaps I should use the word Imperial troopers, though it's kind of difficult to discern. They're not force sensitive, though. There's no fear of that.
Okay. Okay.
They are. She's just holding a blaster. She's a sniper, as far as you can tell.
Got it.
And so this man is going to walk out and face all of you. And I'll let him say something if you would like.
Ought to be always aware, or is it oblivious, the Jedi version of the axiom? No matter. Either way, you die like the squiffy, left-footed, and back-brain boots you are.
Alright, perfect. So with that, he's going to step out from the shadows. He'll also, for his first action, he's going to raise his arms up and seem to summon power from below in the chasm. And that is going to succeed, and I'll let that line be delivered as well.
You think you have us outnumbered, but this cavern is full of my allies and your demise.
And up from the chasm is going to fly a couple of Shirax, which are sort of bat-like massive creatures with sort of monstrous heads. So I have these tokens for them. And they're going to fly upwards. Their height, if you care terribly about it, is going to be tracked with the blue bar that you can see above them. You might have to zoom in to see it. But right now they're both at 22 meters from the ground floor. So they're about 60 meters below you still, as they're soaring up from the chasm. And then it will be...
I see no blue bar on them.
Oh, damn. Let's see if I can do anything about that. Are they visible now? Nope.
No.
Great. Well. Should have done that.
They're on the layers, on the right layer, maybe?
They are. I just clicked to make it visible to everyone, but there
you go.
I see one of them.
Cool. Yeah, I can change it to the other one now that I know the right setting. Cool. All right. So you can see their height if you zoom in on them there. That's more for me to track them and tell them how far away they are. If you care, you can, but you don't necessarily have to look at that. So anyway, then it will be your faction's turn to act. And I am going to hold Alori's action for last. So I will let you act in your initiative order, which is going to start with Gom. So the way this works, I know you weren't here last time, Megan, so I'm going to give you a bit of a refresher. I know you've played before. You'll declare the number of actions first, and then you will begin acting. So you can tell me how many actions you would like to take this turn now.
Okay, I'll take one action and I'll just move up a little bit and try to just maim in the leg the Sith trooper with my blaster.
So you can move up to 5 spaces for free, I believe, if your move is 10. So feel free to move your token that distance.
Okay.
Cool. And you can take the shot. They are going to be in half cover. It's going to be... Actually... What are the ranges on your blaster?
3 to 10 is easy, then... Or no, it's 3 to 10, then 30, then 120.
So on a base level, it would be easy, which is going to be 2 dice. And then there's a die difficulty because it's low light. And half cover is another couple of dice. So we'll see what the difficulty to hit is.
Okay.
All right. You rolled a 9?
For damage.
Ooh, critical. Oh, that's not quite right. We can ignore that roll. So you'll roll your blaster skill.
Yep. Okay.
But all right. All right. Despite the critical failure, so Gom sort of trips as she gets to the end of her step. But as you take the shot, you're going to be able to make that shot on her. So you can roll damage.
Okay.
Oof. All right. And you were aiming specifically for the leg?
Yeah, I think Gom's thinking that maybe she can get a little, information from the trooper after all this battle is done, so kind of hoping for, that.
Sure. So I'm going to say I probably should have added an additional difficulty die, but since you got a critical failure on your roll, what I'm going to say happens is the intent to aim at a particular place does not occur, but instead the shot just sort of goes off randomly on the target. So we're going to look at that damage code. Where do I have the right thing? Ugh, it's been so long. All right, so you hit the trooper. She falls back. She's not incapacitated, but she falls to the ground, and she's going to be struggling for a little bit there. So I meant to get custom markers, but for now we're going to apply that. I'm going to remember what it means. So yeah, that's what happens to her. And then it will be Kalo's turn next. The order is different because I messed it up last time, like I said. So sorry about that.
Okay.
Also because Flash isn't here. He would traditionally have acted before this.
Okay. I will do one action. So first I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then whack him with my lightsaber.
Okay. So you can roll... you're taking one action, or did you declare more than that?
No, just one.
Okay, cool. So you can take the shot. All right. That meets the difficulty of the lightsaber, right? 25. Nothing on the wild die. So yeah, you can roll damage on the lightsaber. $28. Woo. And with that, you can call it, but with the stipulation that you kill her.
Whoops. So Kello's all pumped up and just runs up and then accidentally cuts off her head, trying to disarm her.
Meanwhile, Gom's caught this all on camera, and is like, this doesn't paint the Jedi well at all.
All right, and then it will be Sebastian's turn. Sebastian has reacted with a reaction, so you can either pass your turn or you can do something with a -1 penalty if you want to take only one more action, or you can declare additional actions for additional penalties.
I'll take one action to get my full movement.
Sure.
Well, I'm gonna go up to him and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, man, listen, sorry about your ally, but you kind of surprised us, and we're not really here to fight you. We're just trying to get back something that was stolen. So we don't have to fight anymore if we don't want to. We can just let bygones be bygones." I know what you've been. I understand. I get it. You got something to prove, but this isn't the time for that. We can end this in a better way.
Can he respond to that?
Sure.
Does he have to use a reaction to respond?
He does not. If we want to enforce the rules too strictly, you just used about 4 actions to say it. All of that. But I'll allow it for the sake of dramatic.
Cost for an action.
What was that?
How much does talking cost for an action?
So I think it's like D&D rules where you can say like a phrase or a sentence for free, but anything beyond that takes additional time, so it's like taking an action. But I'm not being strict. I'm just saying I'm not going to be strict and stop him from responding either. Because if I'm going to be strict to one side, I'm going to be strict to both sides, so I'll let him respond.
I don't think you photosynthesized my vernacular. Maybe you thought it would be easy to just waltz into a Sith temple, but unfortunately for you, Dennis and Lilicoy left me behind to take care of you guys. Or people who might have looked like you specifically.
Can I respond, or is it
we're gonna close it there? You can respond next turn if things are still in the same situation. So Nier, it will be your turn.
Okay, I just saw my Padawan just kill somebody instantly. A little mortified, but also a little proud. That he can hold on his own now. I can see our resident knight also covering the other person at the other end. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And there's these 2 flying things over the chasms.
Yeah.
Well, first I'm going to move over to the steady ground, away from the edge. So move 3 squares. Excuse me. Can I use my force power to pull one of the flying creatures towards me?
Sure. If you have a force power that will do that, do you want to use telekinesis? Or do you have force pull or something?
I do not have that, I think.
You can actually still roll it with a difficulty level higher. I think telekinesis is an alter power.
Which I do not have any points in.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so that won't work. Can I hold an action? Right? I can hold an action.
Yes. I will let you, I'll let you hold and go to the bottom of the initiative order, but you don't actually have to declare the action initially. You can just act later in the round before the round ends.
Basically, I just want to... I'm going to take 1 more square, so that's 4 squares, so I'm in front of my Padawan. Basically, I just want to, as soon as one of the flying creatures, if it comes between me or my Padawan, I would want to swipe at it with my lightsaber.
Okay, I'll let you hold that action. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's good by me. And then it will be T-Bone's turn.
Sweet. Alright, I feel sort of like I have to protect as the only non-Jedi other than me. And so I'm going to head over here. And then I'd like to take a shot at one of these, at the flying guy that's closest to the ledge.
All right, cool. So I'm going to do quick thing, 7 meters. I'm going to get to distance. 60, 22, 7. All right, what are the ranges on your blaster?
I have
Or
a
where does
blaster
38
carbine.
fall?
It's more than the lowest one, less than the medium one.
So like it falls in the it's more than okay, so it's in medium range because everything up to that is medium range.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
So it will be medium range. Difficulty is like 3 dice plus 1 for it being dark. All right. So I have a difficulty number. You can roll your blaster skill.
Great. A 15.
All right. So with a 15, you do hit, so you can roll damage.
Great. That's 11.
All right. With that, the Chirac, I'm never really sure, actually falls back down into the chasm, sort of plummets, incapacitated. So we'll, wait, that's the wrong one. We will knock this person out. If I can manage roll 20 anyway. All right.
And that's my only move.
All right, cool. So Alori will then have a turn. They're going to take 2 actions. I don't think anybody else took 2 actions, right? None of you did? I did not. I had one of the enemies take 2 actions, but you killed her since then, so she's not going to get the second one. So Alori will get to take their 2 actions back to back, but only because no one else is in the initiative order before them. So first, they're going to roll lightsaber combat. So they're going to roll control with a 2D. I guess they're going to take 3 actions, actually. 3D disadvantage. They're going to use their force point. Alright, they're going to meet that one. Meet that one. And they will have lightsaber combat active. Then they're actually... they're going to, for their second action, move 10 meters. All right, to sort of face Max. And then we will be back up to the top of the initiative order, I believe. So it will be Max's turn to act. He's going to activate his lightsaber and prepare to face the 2 combatants in front of him. But
One
sort
combatant.
of... What was that?
Nothing.
So, sort of in a surprising move, he's going to duck to the side behind one of the statues. And instead of using that lightsaber that he's just ignited, which seems now to you to be a little bit defensive, he is instead going to force push. So let me look at that real quick. I thought I knew where it was. Oh yeah, it's the first one. Cool. And he is only that is going to be his action. He's going to use these dice. So, the force push is going to affect Sebastian and Alori. Both of them are going to end up rolling strength in response to this, to resist the force push, to see if they can stay on the ground. And yeah, so we'll see what happens. So Jonathan, if you can roll force push or strength for me, that would be great. Lori is going to roll it as well. This is not a reaction, so there are no penalties incurred. This is literally just, can you stay standing on the ground?
I got an 18.
All right. So you will stay sturdy. Lori is going to be pushed from the side of the platform.
Oh no.
They are going to react to pull themselves back up. Let's see how this goes. So they're going to cast telekinesis to lift themselves back up. And this is going to be a reaction skill, but it is their first action this round, so they get to roll all of it. They meet the check, and so they get like pushed off the side of the platform, and they immediately propel themselves back up onto the edge. So there's a momentary scare, but they remain standing. And then it will be you all's turn to act, which will start with Gom again. Oh, wait, no, I didn't move for the Chirac. I'm so sorry. So the Chirac will fly further upward. Closing in much closer on the platform here. So they're about 20 meters below it now. And that will be... actually, let's give them a... see if they can dash. I'm not sure if they can. I'm not convinced. Oh, yeah. Let's roll for it. Let's see. Yeah, they can. So they're going to make it up to almost eye level. But they will stop there. They're going to be at like 6 meters above. Actually, I'm going to have them move this way instead. So we'll have them be even with the platform a few meters off the side. But not close enough to attack yet. And then it will be to Gom. Sorry, gave you a false start there. So how many actions would you like to declare, Gom?
I will take one. I think Gom is gonna have obviously watching what's happening with Sebastian and this person, but doesn't feel like it's her place to interfere with Jedi stuff too much, so she's just gonna go to the edge of the platform and shoot the flying thing.
Sure. All right. So you can roll. That's actually point blank range, so it's going to be very easy. It is dark, so I'm going to roll an additional modifier with that.
When you said shoot, I totally thought you meant with the camera.
Get a close up.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
Both? Yeah.
So you take a shot at that. You do get a critical failure, so again, Gum sort of stumbles at the end of the walk over, but manages to hit it. You can go ahead and roll damage. All right. And that Chirac takes the blaster bolt, sort of gets a smack in the face, but otherwise carries on. So there we have it. And then it will be Callow's turn. How many actions are you declaring, Callow?
Just one. So what happens if I use a force point? Do I just double the number of die I roll?
Rolls for the entire round.
Oh, okay.
So all of your combat rolls for the round, all of the checks, they'll all be twice the number of dice you would use otherwise.
Okay. How heavy are the statues if I want to do telekinesis on them?
So the statues are pretty heavy. Let me see what the ranges on telekinesis are. It's gonna be difficult. I'm trying to think. I don't know metric, so 100 kilograms is like 200 pounds or something, 250, something crazy like that, I think. Let me look that up.
I need to look at what the numbers difficult translate to.
Yeah, they're difficult. So difficult will be it will be like an 18 to succeed.
That is not gonna happen. Okay.
Statues are pretty heavy, so that's a difficult lift.
So Callow is going to move closer to the other guy and I guess ready himself to attack if something comes into his range. Is that okay?
Sure. I'll let you attack as a reaction if someone enters your range in that case.
1, 2, 3. I'll move there.
Okay. All right, then it will be Sebastian's turn. How many actions would you like to declare, Sebastian?
A short phrase can be free, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 actions then. So I'll move for 1 and say I'm really sorry about this. And then I'm going to use a force point and activate my Baku Uni hand.
Sure. So that's a little bit complicated, right? Because you have to roll with a 1 die disadvantage, but then you up. Actually, technically a 2 die disadvantage because you have to roll 2 checks for that, right?
Does the
then you're gonna
disadvantage
double it
apply before or after?
before, like
force
what during
point.
the action? We'll do it for 1d disadvantage because I think the 2d thing is complicated. I don't understand
Okay.
it, so I'm just gonna let it go. But you'll roll with a 1 die disadvantage on each of the skills to activate the Bakuni hand, but then you get to roll double after. So if like you are supposed to roll 4 dice, like if you have 4 dice in the skill, you'll roll 6 dice, right? For instance.
Right. Okay, and it's easy for sense and moderate for control.
Sure. So for the easy for sense, we'll say 6 on that. For the moderate control, we'll say 11.
Okay. I got a 6 for the sense.
Whoa, cutting it close.
I got a 10 on the control.
Even though
wait,
I already
no.
assigned... What was that?
Oh, hold on. I get to double it. Never mind.
Oh, did you not do
I've
that
got
on the
double
first roll?
I didn't, but it passed anyway, so.
Okay, sure.
I got a 17 then.
All right.
Okay.
So you can add the appropriate things. You get a 6 and a 17.
Yes.
You add those rolls actually, so you should roll more for the first, right? Those rolls end up getting added to different attributes. Is that right, or is it different?
So I add the sense to the attack roll, and then add or subtract the control from the damage roll.
Okay. Sure. So you do need to roll additional dice for that first roll to make it right?
To make it right?
Because you get to add that or subtract it, right?
Uh,
Is that was the first one the control roll?
The first one was sense, but I don't think I add that number. I just add the number of dice I have in sense or control.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. Sorry, I forgot. Cool. Yeah. So that was your first action, and you're taking another, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're rolling with a 1d disadvantage. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get to roll the next action with a 1d disadvantage, whatever that is. Well, actually, we have to wait till you're back in the round, right? But that's fine. You'll have the other action before the turn ends. So then it will be Nier's turn to act. How many actions would you like to declare, Nier?
Right. Sorry, it took a second for my brain to like register that was actually my name. Okay, so obviously my action that was held last round didn't take because it was still flying up, which I should have, realized that. I do not like, however, that Gom was right in front of me on the edge. So how does it work to pull a person aside? Like,
do you want to physically grab her and pull her, or do you want to use the force? Okay, just wanted to
physically
be clear.
grab her.
Yeah, so you can grapple a person. Out of curiosity, will Gom resist being grabbed from behind, or will she see this as a friendly gesture?
Friendly gesture.
Okay. So you can roll me a strength. Is this your only action, Nier?
Yes.
Okay. it's going to be easy to pull her from the ledge to behind you.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a higher number on strength, she will go further back.
Wait, okay. So remind me again. It's a 1d penalty if on my next turn. On my next action, right? Just it's
On
like a
on all
lightsaber attack,
actions, if you if you're going to take 2 actions, both of your 2 actions have a 1d disadvantage.
including my current action of pulling her.
Mm-hmm. The way that I let you cheat that, which is the normal way to let you cheat, is if you react before you act, I pretend in the reaction like you're taking no other actions. Because I can't tell when you react what you're going to do in the future. So the reaction gets kind of cheated. But when it's actually actions that you're declaring, you have to take the disadvantage on all rolls.
Yeah, my strength isn't great, so I'm not going to risk that. So I will keep it 1 action, just prepare myself for the next round. All right, so I'm going to use my strength to pull... Oh, wait, actually, you said it was going to be easy, right?
Yeah.
I actually have 1 more dice than I thought I had.
Take the chance. What could happen?
What could go wrong? Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I'm gonna take a penalty. And just so pull her aside and then hold my second action for when the creature should get to me next round, I assume. So if it does, I'll be ready with my lightsaber to attack.
Okay.
Okay.
So if it gets you, it gets you in the next turn. So you don't need to ready an action now because it will just be like
A reaction?
Yeah, I mean you'll react to defend from it, and then you can attack it in the same round. So
I just want to get first hit on it.
Gotcha. Okay. It's complicated because there's not really a system for holding actions in D6, and I'm just allowing it, but I'll allow it. That's good.
Am I complicating it?
No, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Go for it. I'm all for it. Let's see the strength check.
With a -1 dice.
Yeah.
That's a 4 plus 2, so 6.
Okay. So that meets the check that I assigned it in my head. So you're able to pull Gom back. Gom stumbles sort of backwards over here. Manages to stay standing. Nothing bad happens. She was willing, so she didn't resist you when she felt you pulling her. But you don't throw her away from the edge. You just pull her back a meter. All right. Then it will be T-Bone's turn to act. How many actions would you like to declare?
Just 1, please.
Sure.
And I would like to shoot this scary monster. I
Sure.
don't remember the name of it.
So you are point blank. It is low light, so we're going to add the disadvantage for that, but it is it's an easy check, essentially.
Cool.
So you can roll Blaster.
Monster. It's a 12.
So you'll hit the Chirac, yeah.
Cool. And then damage is 14.
All right.
Critical fail.
Critical fail. So you can call that for me. If you want to integrate the critical fail into how you call it, you're welcome to. If you don't want to, it's not a big deal here because you succeeded by a high enough number.
Okay, cool. How about I just line up my shot, and as that happens, I sneeze a little bit. It doesn't really impact anything, but it's embarrassing.
Perfect. All right, so you blast that Chirac and it falls limp and falls into the chasm. And it will be done. So then I believe we're back to Baz, right? Because Baz has another action and no one else does?
Yeah.
Okay.
The force point still applies for this roll, right?
It's everything in
Okay.
a round, so you're good.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to knock him out.
All right.
And do I double the outcome of the roll or the number of dice?
The number of dice.
Okay.
Is it something obscene? Are you rolling like 15 dice over there or something? I guess it would have to be an even number, but
14.
so like 15 was pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a 42 to hit.
So he actually is going to, like, he sees you coming in for the punching, and he's going to lift his lightsaber, which he's activated just to parry. He's kind of taken off guard that you seem to be swinging at him with fists, because he's an adept enough Sith apprentice to know that you're force sensitive, and he expected a lightsaber to be coming at him. So he's going to raise the lightsaber. But he has sort of like this expectation that what you're doing when you sort of come with this like upper punch is that you are like preparing to activate your lightsaber at like the top of your swing and bring it down. So he raises the saber up high above his head, which totally leaves like the underside of his chin and his chest exposed where your fist comes in. So you can go ahead and roll damage. You don't double this, but you also don't roll any dice disadvantage on it, so just the regular lightsaber damage. And we'll see how he resists this.
So when I attempt to knock him out, that's like a specific like skill, I guess, that has its own description.
Oh, okay.
So it requires a successful called shot to the head. And if after the resistance total has been subtracted, the target suffers at least 2 wound levels, then he falls unconscious for a number of hours equal to the difference between the combat skill total and the combat difficulty.
Okay, so I rolled the wrong difficulty, but the same thing still happens even when I roll the like called shot difficulty.
Okay.
I just re-rolled real quick. So I should have asked you about trying to knock him out specifically. I'm sorry. No, you're okay. That's my bad, not yours. You're totally good. So you succeed on the called shot. So you don't have to roll damage or anything, or you do? I know you can't kill him accidentally if you succeed on the called shot.
This option does half the normal damage, but it can render the target immediately unconscious with a successful attack.
Oh, okay. Cool. So let's go ahead and roll damage for the hell of it.
Okay.
But unless the damage is exceptionally... Well, he gets knocked out either way, but it will determine how wounded he is after being knocked out, because I think it says a maximum of 2 wound levels in what you read.
Suffers at least 2 wound levels.
Oh, at least 2. Okay. So it can get more damage than that up to, but not fatal. Cool.
Yeah.
But it will do half of the regular damage, so half the dice, I think, is what it said?
Yes.
Okay.
Which,
cool.
since I'm doubling the dice, it's just
it doesn't matter in damage, though.
Oh, right.
So just half your damage, yeah.
Yeah. So 7 damage.
All right. So you just knock him out. He's not terribly wounded, but maybe that's because you're adept in trying to be non-violent. Under normal circumstances, he would have managed to resist you entirely. So he's not very damaged by this knockout, but because your called shot is so successful, it does, in fact, knock him out. So he's knocked out. There are no more Chiracs. We're out of initiative. The battle's won.
Yay.
And that's that.
I kind of pat the bad guy on the head and say sorry.
Can I check if the sniper had any a radio or anything like that?
Sure. Roll me a search check, which is under perception if you don't have anything special in the skill.
That's a 9.
All right. They do not seem to have a radio or anything special on them at this time. Though you notice that the two of them don't seem to be very well equipped, so they probably had a pile of equipment somewhere else. They were traveling light up here while they hid from you. when they heard you coming in.
Also, when I was talking to him, the bad guy name dropped his master. Can I have another pass on what that was? I didn't quite hear it.
Can you roll me a knowledge roll?
Okay. Alright.
Okay, so you remember the names that he said were... did he say both names, AMD?
Yeah.
So he said Deditus and Lilikoi. Lilikoi, I suppose.
Ned and Lily.
Someone can type those in chat. Feel free. I'm good with them being in chat.
Yeah, in the stream chat or in the...
In like the server, just so people can see the names. They don't have to be in stream chat.
Do we know how long he'll be knocked out for?
I believe there's a roll for that, right, Jonathan?
If he falls unconscious for the number of hours equal to the difference between the combat skill total and the combat difficulty, or until he's woken by some external force, whichever comes first.
Okay. So he'll be knocked out for a significant period of time, enough to make it irrelevant unless you wake him up.
Okay. So Gom is going to ask the group, or does Gom know this? I guess Gom doesn't know this.
Gum can see that he's knocked out.
Okay. So should we tie him up and bring him to the ship, or wake him up and try to get some info?
Show the portrait of this particular character.
Oh, Jesus. How did I forget?
Just because this character has a very fun portrait.
Yeah. I meant to actually reveal both of them, and I forgot. Just so you can see what's on the tokens a little bit better. Let me put them up on stream clearly. Maybe.
This is excellent
Is that-
facial hair.
Amazing.
Does he
He's got
have
the
hair
beard.
he's like using for suspenders?
Yeah, he's
going on
got
there?
braids that wrap around his arms.
What are the things connected to his neck?
Neck jewelry?
Okay. Cool.
Like Nick Pearson?
It's not like he's not like a cyborg. Something.
I mean, he might want you to think he's a cyborg.
Okay. Cool.
Is he wearing sunglasses indoors?
He is.
I'm not sure this is strictly indoors, but it's definitely in low light. I'm not sure if a cave is indoors.
Hey,
Technically.
Oh.
can
I
Callow
guess there were
take
doors
away
between
his
you and the
lightsaber?
outside. Yeah, you can grab his lightsaber.
And I'm gonna search to see if he has anything else.
Sure, go ahead and give me a search roll. Alright, you don't find anything useful. You do suspect, as T-Bone was led to suspect, that there's probably some other equipment someplace. They probably weren't down here without comm links, without data pads, without anything. Maybe, but probably not.
He's gonna. Oh. I was gonna say, Callow's gonna take the sunglasses and like put them on because he's just confused. Like, you know how like a raccoon would just like pick up things and just inspect it.
Are we
What's a
leaning into the
raccoon?
raccoonness of Callow? Is that what's happening?
I will
Yeah.
add that these sunglasses in particular have no side things that hold on to your ears. They just go on your nose. So I'm not sure, unless Kello has a human-wide nose, how this will fit.
It doesn't. He's like sniffs it. He tries to put it on and it just falls off and just is confused.
Can
Are-
Gom like cut the braids off to like tie his hands with?
I mean, we have ropes. I don't think it's necessary.
I don't have ropes. Does someone else
Necessary.
have ropes?
I will.
Is it like D&D
T-Bone
where we
has
all
some,
have
like-
ropes?
I think T-Bone mentioned something about having ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But however, if Gom is just saying that she's doing that, I'll let her cut off his braids and start tying him up.
God.
You have a vibroblade.
Well, now
the
that
power
Gom knows
is in your
that there's
hand.
rope, Now that Gom knows that there's rope, that works. But Gom wants
Sure.
to, I like how suddenly with the Sith we're just like, now we have, standards that we need to abide by.
What do you mean?
Sure.
I've always had standards to abide by.
True.
Hey. Callow wasn't trying to behead that person. It's just he's not very good at aiming.
Bit of an Anakin moment there.
Yeah.
Alori is going to say, "The battle is done. We should decide what to do with the apprentice and move on."
Before we go on to that, are Jeditus and Willie Coy people like famous Sith that I would perhaps know, or?
So I'll wrap that into the same knowledge check you already rolled. They're not
Okay.
names that you recognize.
Okay.
Though at this point in the galaxy, there are many Sith Lords.
Okay, they're not overachievers. Or they're really overachievers.
This is like the period of history where there are more Sith than there are Jedi.
Good time. I think we should keep him, knocked out while we explore this tour. I think we're here for a reason, and I think this person is part of what's the phrase I'm saying? It's just a part of a puzzle.
So I take it you are tying him up with the rope. Did someone already say that, or has it happened yet?
If nobody else is, I will.
Okay. So he gets tied up with the rope. There are no rolls for that. He's not going to come awake and put a lightsaber through your chest. In part because someone remembered to disarm him.
Yes.
Who would ever forget to disarm a Sith?
Crazy bunch of kids. So anyway, you'll tie him up. I will let you carry him with you as long as you're out of combat. There will be no issue carrying him with you. If you want to wake him up at some point, let me know. Otherwise, Alori will gesture down the stairs and start continuing down.
I don't think we need to carry him. Just lean him up against the statue. Let him have his nap.
We'll tie him up.
Can he float in the same way that you can?
Is that question directed to Alori?
No, sorry. Yes, yeah.
Alori will say, "It is probable that he knows of this power. Whether he is capable of accomplishing it, all I'll say is that his performance thus far did not impress me."
Okay. And so T-Bone's just gonna hoist him up and carry him down the stairs with everybody.
Sure.
Okay.
Alori will continue sort of uneventfully to the bottom of the staircase.
Okay.
I will do a little time fast forwarding here. My apologies for that. I hope that's okay. Don't want to keep
we
y'all
notice-
too long.
We have to walk down every stair. Who
So
knows what
you reach
can
the bottom
happen?
of the stairs, and there is sort of a pile of boxes and stuff next to this big stone doorway. But as you get to the bottom, you hear... sorry, my headphones are about to die on me. Let me swap out. Hopefully that one... Somebody say something. Yeah, great. I'm not batting well. Just a second. Always charge your AirPods before. Is Discord selecting the right audio output now? Who knows? Probably not. Ah. Just a second, sorry.
Alright, T-Bone's
Alright, I
gonna
think
drop
I'm
the
back.
unconscious guy on the ground again.
There we are.
Something.
Sorry, neither I nor the stream could hear you there for a minute, so I'm really sorry about that. I'm back now, though, and I should have enough charge to last the rest of the time in the other ear. So anyway, there's like sort of a pile of stuff, but as you hit the bottom of the stairs, the huge stone door right here like slides open, and you hear the same voice booming that you've heard in other parts of the temple, and it just says, the chains are the easy part. And the stone door rumbles open.
What's
just
the
as
hard
I-
part? Do I get an answer?
Unfortunately not.
Oh, okay.
Not an interactive display at this particular temple.
Callow looks in his pockets for some spare change.
Can Mog investigate this, or not Mog, Gom investigate this green thing over here? There's like a green.
Sure. Give me a search or an investigate. Just it's perception if you don't have skill in any of them. All right, perfect. So you rummage through. You find in the pile of stuff. You find like a couple of basic comlinks. Comlinks don't have like contacts in this galaxy. Or at least these ones are not operable to any of you. But you also find the data pad, which on the map is what you've drawn your attention to, which is this little data pad. And when you pick it up, you notice that it has a banner across the top in Arabesh, which is an alphabet that you would be able to read, the like sort of basic galactic alphabet. It just says, property of Max Kuhlman.
Do I know who that is?
I don't believe so, no.
You
Okay.
haven't heard of the Max Coolman?
Can I ask if anyone else? Well, yeah. I don't know if anyone else would know either.
Maybe it belonged
this
to
guy?
our friend up there.
Can I
He
like
is
how do I
very
read
cool.
a data pad?
How do data pads work?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say in this instance, they're pretty similar to a tablet. They're basically like devices that have screens. This one is locked, and seems to have some sort of biometric scanner that gets people in.
Can we try to put the unconscious guy's hand on it or something?
Sure. If you want to climb back up there, you certainly can do that.
Oh, I had been carrying him down.
Oh, right.
downstairs.
You're
Yeah.
right. Sorry. My mind. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, sure. Throw the guy's hand on it. So you do that, and it unlocks. And you're able to see in it. Anything specific that you're looking for?
This is
His
why
mission?
you use two-factor authentication.
It does not require two-factor authentication. If only he had enabled that before perishing.
What a fool.
Or not perishing, before being knocked out. So it has some details about a team of people from the group that he's in being deployed to a planet called Felucia, where there's an ancient shrine to the sun, which is one of the Mortis gods. It also recounts what happens when what happened when a group of people visited here. So he was here with people that you have heard the names of already, Deditus and Lily, Deditus and Lilikoi. They're two Sith, specifically Deditus is in charge. His name is Darth Deditus. And he and Lilikoi and a group of other people that included Max Kuhlman came to this temple, performed the trials, looking for some information on a ritual that honors the sun. And they went in the temple. Unfortunately, when they went in the temple, which is where the stone door has just slid open, they left Max behind on guard duty, and he's been here ever since. So that seems to be most of what the logs in the data pad reveal.
Oof.
Poor guy.
Is there info on when that happened?
Yeah, so it's been in the past couple of days. They seem to have left about 2 days ago, though. Which makes sense. When you were on Coruscant, you were about 2 days behind them. Here, you seem to be about 2 days behind them again.
So they're not still in the temple, or they like went in the temple and then left?
gone.
So it seems like they left some other way. Max did not see them again, but they sort of indicated to him to stay there and that they might not return.
Through this door, is it like a full, like, big building temple, or is it just
It's
like a
like
room?
you can see a whole big temple in there. Once you go in, I can slide you over to a different map, but I want to make sure we're done on this map if you're satisfied with what you've looked around at. You've seen
Can I
most of what it
find
has
any
to
snacks?
offer. That's not like a sneaky. Yeah, so one of the crates has a little bit of food in it. It is not high quality. It is like imperial rations. Just protein bars, I fear, but they're there.
Are there any mashed potato flavored protein bars?
They're not flavored at all. They're like I don't know, eating rice cakes.
I imagine it would be like
I'll eat one
hardtack.
and then stuff a few in my pockets.
Sure. All right. So I assume you're entering the temple at this point, right?
Yeah.
All right. We will not have people pull tokens for this, but you enter this temple through the stone door. It's very high ceilinged, and there's a lush green carpet running the length of an aisle between two sets of stone pillars. Lanterns hanging from the ceiling along the aisle ignite as you enter, so it's suddenly like very bright in the chamber. There are some writing desks and shelves that line the left side of the room. You imagine a very long time ago, based on the current state of these desks, scribes sort of copied the tomes that are along the walls here. And on the right, there are sort of a row of sarcophagi. There's an altar at the end of the chamber that you can see here, and some statues behind it. A couple of the statues seem to be in very like terrible disrepair. And that is pretty much the scene. As you enter, Alori sort of looks around and very angrily all of a sudden says, "They defiled it! At some point in the history of this shrine, it honored the balance of all of the Mortis gods, but someone has destroyed the images and banners of the father and the daughter, leaving it as a temple only to the son." And yeah. And then he's going to sort of start taking a look around, and all of a sudden, before anyone else has the chance to speak, they're just going to say, "I sense we do not have much time. I cannot see the movement of the future, but the nature of this place is foreboding, and we should not tarry here."
Okay, let's look around.
Sure. What do you want to look at?
What's the book?
So you walk up to the altar. You take a look down at the book. Are you going to like pick it up, or are you going to like glance at it?
Pick it up.
All right.
Flip
So you
through the
pick it up.
pages.
So Sebastian walks into this temple, marches straight down the aisle, goes to the altar, picks up this book. Can all of the people who have force powers roll me a sense roll, please?
What's the sense? Oh, sensual.
Why don't I? Here.
I re-roll my wild die, right?
Yeah.
17.
Jesus.
Yeah, I got 2 6s on the first roll.
That's beautiful.
Nice. I got 1 6 on my first roll. I got a 12.
All right. I think you're muted, by the way, Callow, but I understand you met with a 5, or you got a 5. Okay, so with that, you're all able to see what happens. Essentially, as soon as Sebastian reaches out to touch the altar, what happens to Gom and T-Bone, I'll sort of tell you in advance, and then I'll get to what happens to the Jedi. There is, like, a sudden rush of, like, a really bad feeling. Like, imagine something that looks like potato soup and turns out to be rotten potato soup, T-Bone. And Gom, just imagine that your report got like 2 views on the entire HoloNet, but there's like a massive bad feeling, and nothing happens to you other than this bad feeling, but you notice all of a sudden that all 4 of the Jedi are suddenly like utterly transfixed, and the 4 Jedi, as soon as Baz has touched the altar, they sort of feel something happening. The Force twists, and there's a moment where things flicker. The candle lights on the altar, and their vision of the temple around them is replaced by something that happened in the past. So they can see the holocron that was missing from Coruscant being brought into this temple, and there are two people sort of hovering over it. And let me move this. And then, just a second on that. They see two people hovering over it. One is a Shagrian man who seems to be in charge. Shagrians have like big head tails. One of the bureaucrats on Coruscant in the prequels is a Shagrian. And a Mikian woman with sort of long, flowing tentacles. There are a couple of twins in the Clone Wars who are Jedi who are Mikians, just for reference. Seem to be sort of hovering over. You can see their reflections in the holocron. When they brought the holocron here, it radiated with the altar, and there was like an explosion of power. It was as if the two objects recognized each other. And that echo is sort of what you feel when Baz first touches the altar. So a flash of images pours through this window. As you see this vision, the holocron sort of becomes massive and subsumes your entire vision of the place. And you see sort of the following images flash through. So a flash of images pours through the window. And as you stare into a holocron, in its reflection, you see a lot of possibilities spreading out before you. You see the followers of this cult that you've been pursuing dispatched to the planet Felucia to find a shrine that's dedicated to just the sun. You see a Mikian Sith departing and landing on the planet Dathomir to meet with the Night Mother, the head of the witches. And you see the Shagrian man, the man who was standing over the holocron, taking the holocron out of this temple and carrying it to the Sith Academy on Korriban. And those three images sort of flash through over and over again. If I can quickly do it, I want to copy and paste the transcription of the vision, which I should have had prepared, but I did not, because I want you to be able to read it if that's helpful. Here we go. So that's in the general chat. I'll also throw it in the stream chat in case... Oh, no, there's a character limit. Never mind. Well, maybe if I'm smart. No, that's... Okay, whatever. So you're able to see that vision, and as it sort of comes to a close, your awareness returns to the temple. The bad feeling passes for Gom and T-Bone, though they probably realize that something beyond their comprehension has just happened. And yeah. I'm going to let that play for a while because it's beautiful, and I'm amazed by cool. AMD's work, so I want it to get its time to shine. But we will hide it again when you're doing things in the temple.
Did you guys see anything? What happened?
I think we saw some visions of what transpired here, or rather, following this holocron.
Alori is going to say, a vision... we received a vision of the past and what futures it may lead to. We have places we can go now. So these sort of... You understand in this Force vision, it represented 3 things that will happen simultaneously. So those are 3 events that are yet to come, but there are 3 things happening at the same time. So to simplify very basically, there are a group of the cult followers who are going to Felucia to find a different temple. There's a Mikian woman who's going to Dathomir, and the Shagrian man is going to the academy that is here on Korriban.
With the holocron.
Yeah.
Is it... The question is now, are all 3 just simple possibilities and one is true? Or are they all have occurred and figure out which one is happening now?
I think the three are all three that haven't happened yet, but will happen.
So we have to find which one we think will be able to catch, basically. I mean, the nearest one would be trying to find the Chaglian man here in Korriban. But that's at the Sith Academy.
Oh no, it's the cops.
Whatever. Whatever we plan to do, we should complete our investigation here as quickly as possible and leave. Even if we haven't made a final decision about the other destination, I fear there is a reason we must get out of this temple. So also, at the end of this, Baz, you are left holding the, book. Nothing gets, destroyed. However, the, candle on the altar is lit. The book is in another Sith language that you can't read, but you can tell from the format and the location, you could probably conclude that it's a prayer of some type.
Okay, I don't need the book then. I put it back.
Callow is gonna look at the coffins to see if there's anything special about them.
Sure. So you can look at the coffins. They all have very heavy stone lids. If you want to take a look in them, you're going to have to be strong enough to lift the stone slab. I will let you take looks in them if you would like, but if you're just poking around them, they're solid stone sarcophaguses. You assume they have dead people in them, though God only knows.
More
If I
gods
see-
only know.
If I see Callow struggling with a lid, I'm gonna go over and help him. But only
Is
if you
Callow
want.
trying to crack one open, or no?
They're heavy enough that physical force is probably not enough to open them, right?
What was that? Sorry?
They're pretty heavy, so even two people trying to lift it probably is not gonna do anything.
It's hard to know without trying.
Well, Callow tries to open the one closest to the altar.
What is your strength, Callow, and what is your strength, T-Bone?
4D.
3D.
In this case, I think your efforts are additive. I will let you both roll strength, and we'll add the total together.
Okay. I got
15.
13.
It is heavy. With a 15 and a 13, we'll do a 28. Nothing on either wild die. It is heavy. You're able to pull that off, slide it right off. However, it's very heavy, and one of the tops of the sarcophaguses, as you lift one up, smashes down. There's a skeleton underneath. It is a very old. It's wrapped in sort of some decaying tatters. However, Callow, since you're the one poking around, I'm gonna have you roll a search here. As you dig through the bones of this coffin.
I sort of sidle up to my Padawan, said, "What are you hoping to learn from disturbing the bodies of these dead persons?"
They're just Sith. That's fine.
So you do find a lightsaber in one of them, which you fish out. It is a Kylo Ren style hilted lightsaber with exhaust vents on either side. This is a very old lightsaber. Are you going to activate it?
You should see near your like tilting the head, please consider your actions.
I was just gonna pocket it for now.
Alright. That's reasonable. So that will be that. Is there anything else anyone wants to take a look at?
these are all scrolls on the other side, right?
Yeah, you can poke around in there if you'd like.
I'm just gonna not physically poke at things because I know better.
Sure.
But I'm just gonna glance at them as I kind of walk the length of it, and just looking and seeing generally the scrolls. They're not books where you can see titles on them, right?
Right. So there are some books at the nearest end. It seems like what probably happened is that this temple predates binding books, or at least the people who lived here or worked here before they knew how to bind books. So there are lots of scrolls, and then there's sort of a transition to keeping things in tomes later. If you want to just take sort of a general look, just roll me a search or investigate, whichever one is higher, or perception on a baseline. Both of them are the same and not skilled.
Perception, investigate, or search.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same for me, so.
Sure. So you can just roll perception.
Not great. 7.
Okay. So you look around. With the 7, you're able to notice that it seems like every bit of writing you can see is in some ancient Sith language. All of this stuff is old. It's dusty. Very little of it seems to have been disturbed recently. And it is dated by its use of an older Sith language. But as Nier sort of peruses the shelf, all of a sudden there's a loud crash outside the temple. Now, out of curiosity, should have said this before I said those words. T-Bone, have you carried our Sith apprentice friend into the temple with you? Okay, good.
I have.
Okay, I figured, but I wanted to be clear. It seemed like you were pretty intent on carrying him around, so I expected that you would here. So you hear a loud crash from sort of the stairway room behind you. You notice that the door, very quietly slid closed behind you, so it's shut again. But from beyond it, even though it's solid stone, you hear a crash. And then you hear a repeated thud that gets louder with each repetition. As it gets louder, the temple floor starts to shake. And Alori, who's standing sort of in the middle of the room, turns back toward the door and just leans on their staff and says, "What did that fool awaken in the depths of Korriban?" And as they say this, the stone door crashes and shatters. I have to do a thing for my own sake. In the broken pieces of the smashed door silhouetted against it, you can see a beast standing up on 2 legs with a giant spiky head looming over in the doorway. And Alori yells, instantly with no hesitation, "This foe is beyond any of you! Run!" And yeah.
Incredible.
So, what are you gonna do? So there are two sort of back doors to the temple. The way it's constructed, you suspect they lead to the same place, just out the back.
Run. With Cool Man.
All right. So T-Bone, if you're carrying this guy alone, I'm going to have you start with a strength check before I have anyone else roll. I'm not going to run this in rounds unless the situation sort of changes. I assume if you're all running away, we can do that out of rounds. If I do it in rounds, it will bore everybody to death, including me. So from here until the next stage of this encounter, you will be able to carry Max. You're a hefty person, and I trust in your ability to carry him. However, you will be the last person in the line of people, no matter... I'm not even actually going to have you roll your run check. Everyone else, please give me a running. It is under strength, I do believe, right? No, it's under dexterity. It's the weird one. Stamina is under strength. Running is under dexterity. 3d6 and gets a 4, Gob! Woof! All right,
Oh,
16
man.
for Kahlo. I'm not. I will actually have T-Bone Roller running, but they are going to be at a disadvantage just in the general sprint away from here.
Ooh.
Not a critical failure though. All right, who else do I need? I need one more, right? Baz. I think?
Me. Yeah, I got a 6.
All right, so Callow is the first to react. Sprints across the room to the door. Oh wait, I don't have any ears either. What did you get, Kara?
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Sorry, I just totally spaced out there. So it's just dexterity's trait.
Yeah, or running if you have it skilled.
Nope. Cool. 11.
All right. So what I'm going to say is that Callow sort of sprints to the door. Nier reacts very quickly in the interest, like, their first inclination is to protect Callow. They're right on his heels as they sort of run to the back door. Behind them is Sebastian. What did Sebastian get again?
6.
Yeah, okay. So Sebastian is next. Then T-Bone carrying Max over his shoulder, sort of like chugging along. But unfortunately, as he began to run, Gom trips, falls into a roll. Alori, who is sort of like terrified and running behind, very quickly like physically scoops Gom up to her feet and pushes her on. You get to the back door. And Alori is going to yell out the back door. Nier and Callow are at the front. Alori is just going to yell, "Lead them on, Master Zia! I'll guard the rear!" And we're going to transition maps here into this guy.
I love...
I'm failing to manipulate it in the stream view. There we go. I think this is good for now. So you'll be on the left side of the map. You can go ahead and place your tokens. And you'll all make me running checks again really quickly as you sort of run out of the temple. We can get you in order here once you all get out. Cool. Thank you for putting that in the chat, Nier.
What's the name of our of the friend who's with us? I always forget.
Goldman.
Alori?
Yeah. Can I try to persuade him to go to the front?
You certainly can say about one sentence as they're playing rear guard here if you would like. I'll let you get one off.
Okay. I think we need you. I think we need you in front in case anyone comes in front. Friend.
They're going to say, "None of you can stand against this. Just run."
No.
So Callow will be in front here. We've got you in order. I'm going to look at the rolls to reassign. So Callow gets in front, sort of trips, and stumbles right as they get to the front of this narrow bridge that's across this massive chasm. Are you going to react to that, Nier? I'm just making an assumption here.
Yeah.
All right. Will you just roll me a quick strength, Nier, in addition to what you did?
Ooh, that's a pretty good roll. 6 plus 4, so that's 10.
All right. So that's good. You're able to scoop Callow back up onto his feet. The two of you are going to kind of run across the bridge together even. You're going to definitely stay in the front. You heard Alori yell for you to lead, so this seems like the appropriate place for you to be. You don't know what's going to be in front of you. On the other side of the chasm, you see a staircase that leads sort of up, and you can see light at the top of it. It's very steep and very long, and goes seemingly directly back to the surface. And then let's stratify everybody else. So Gom is going to get a little bit ahead of T-Bone here, just because T-Bone is carrying something. Yeah, so otherwise this will be about the order. I will let you cross the bridge like this. And yeah, This will be the order that you're in case that is important later, I think. Does that look like it matches the rolls? I think so. So you get over to the other side of the bridge, and as you reach the back door at the temple, I have to manipulate things, sorry. Alori is in the very back, and the monster is sort of at the other end here.
Oh no.
No.
This is why I want front.
And so as you're like going to cross the bridge, Alori yells, "Over the bridge! Run!" And as you make it across the bridge and you find safety on the stairwell, you turn back and you notice that Alori has stopped to face the beast. The Jedi in the party are able to recognize, now that they have a moment to breathe, that the beast is what is called a Terentatek, which is a monster that feeds off the dark side of the Force, and is like a particularly heinous monster in the world of Star Wars, the sort of thing that's known to inhabit Korriban. And Alori is going to turn back. Their saber staff activates, the hilt glowing white, the blade sort of flickering with that cracked kyber. They take the hilt of the sword off their belt and throw it out, and there's an emerald green blade that flicks to life in a cloud of smoke, sort of reaching out from that. And I am going to reveal something else here. Yeah, go for
Max
it.
Coolman. I want to toss Max Coolman onto the staircase and then run back to try to grab Glory.
Sure. I'll allow that. So you can run back right behind them.
Yeah.
As you sort of start to run back, seemingly without even seeing you there, they reach back with the staff and throw you so that you can't get onto the bridge.
No.
The moment that's happening here is that they realize the beast is coming after you no matter what, and they're going to have to do something. Otherwise, it's going to destroy all of you. So they are not going to accept your aid.
Alright, in that case, can I try to take a shot at the beast from across the chasm?
Absolutely. I would love nothing more. As you do that, I'm going to reveal something else here.
Gotta go.
Oh.
Oh my god, that's what happened at the top.
So
That's cute.
that shot hits squarely. Can you roll damage for me, T-Bone?
Uh-huh.
Alright, so that thing burns a hole in the side of it. The Terentatek seems to get angrier. Let me roll its resistance. Does very little to damage the armored hide of the thing. So Alori turns back and says, "You cannot pass." And the beast, which is so you recognize the beast. As Alori sort of flicks out the blade, they say, "I'm a servant of the cosmic force, wielder of the blade of Mortis. The dark side will not avail you, beast of Korriban." The Terentatek rears up and slams its claws down on Alori. Just as it's about to, there's a white glistening light that hovers above Alori and blocks the claws as they slam down. And just at that moment, everything seems to sort of freeze as the claws stand down. And you realize that there's a bird that's brightly colored that looks a little bit like an owl circling overhead. So that's the only noise you hear. The Terentatek eventually rebounds. Alori growls, "Go back to the shadow." The Terentatek does not retreat. And in fact, it steps further onto the bridge toward Alori. I'm always on the wrong layer no matter what I do. So it sort of climbs out onto the bridge. And and Alori feigns with the green blade, which the beast sort of seems afraid of, and jumps back, but then slashes out at the ground with their spear instead from their left hand, sort of throwing it forward. And the Torrentitek jumps free of the attack just in time. Alori seems to like summon energy from the air into the staff and screams, "You cannot pass!" and slams the staff down on the ground. And the bridge shatters, crumbling, and the Torrentitek like falls into the darkness of the chasm. You did see it coming here. I had to do the bit. And so Alori seems to like take a breath of relief as they lean up on what remains of the bridge. And then just as they sort of like take a breath, you are on the very end of the bridge, Mog. Since you tripped, you're on the other end here. A little bit in peril, but the bridge has not collapsed up to that point. Alori takes a deep breath, and then all of a sudden, as if like some bizarre time is frozen, a like shot of energy rockets up from into the chasm with a shriek from the monster down below and smashes the piece of the bridge that Alori stands on. They hold themselves up, and there's a moment that time freezes, and they're just like they're frozen in midair.
Someone throw a rope!
Yeah, I mean, I will let you roll for telekinesis, Kahlo. That's good. Alori is like holding themselves aloft in the air with telekinesis already. You can cast to aid them, Kahlo. So go ahead and roll for that.
I will use my force point.
Sure.
So that's alter, and I will.
No!
Hey, you got to roll two. Get to roll two more.
Yeah. What is the alter difficulty of telekinesis? I don't actually know that I know directly.
There we go.
How far are you seeing?
You get to roll another. You got a 6 on your wild dice.
Oh, I did.
So he was rolling double, so he doesn't, because he still only gets one
really?
wild die. So it would have been the first wild die. 11 meters away. Where is the telekinesis power? I have my 4,000 loose papers. Oh, it was already open. Perfect. So it's moderate difficulty.
Oh.
So to hold them up, moderate difficulty is 15. So you're able to hold them up. However,
No!
you're not able to move them. So with your aid, they are able to hold themselves aloft. But I fear, if you're attempting to move them at all, your telekinesis fails in that regard. Because you don't have the score to do it.
No!
Can I help them move?
What was that?
Can I move them while they're while Calvo's holding them up?
You can cast telekinesis and see what you get.
Okay. I'm gonna use my second force point too.
Alright.
I'm gonna whisper to Gom, not whisper. I'm gonna say to Gom that I have a rope in this bag. It's definitely not long enough to reach.
Well, we can wave it in celebration if he becomes not dead.
17.
Alright, 17. So the difficulty should be on a baseline of 15. And if you're attempting to move him, we're going to add an additional difficulty of a couple too. You said 17?
Yeah.
All right, so you're able to move them a couple of meters.
Okay, so how long is the rope though? How long is T-Bone's rope?
I have like 3 sets of rope that are each like 5 feet long.
That rope is not going to cut it. What I'm going to say in this absurd situation, the only way that Sebastian's movement is going to be enough to save Alori is if someone who is not Sebastian and not Callow runs out on the bridge in an attempt to, like, catch Alori.
Oh my
However, and I say this with the utmost seriousness, this is a moment of great, great peril, and to do that is an incredibly dangerous action. I've said that I'm a nice GM before, and I continue to be a nice GM. I'm telling you pretty expressly, like, you risk your... And that does not mean you die, but you risk your character's life by attempting to save Alori here.
What do we have to roll?
I'll do it.
Yeah, I will have you roll a... it will be a difficult feat of strength to catch Alori.
Okay.
A small failure... will result in not catching Alori, and a great failure may result in other consequences. We'll see. But
I'm gonna do it.
All right. So T-Bone runs out. I assume you chuck... Oh, you already chucked Max on the stairs, right?
Yeah.
So you'll have to run out to, like, here. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Alori has been pulled back here.
All right, I have some questions.
Yeah.
I have 1 force point. What does that do?
So that will double the number of dice you can roll for something.
Okay. I'm gonna do that, and then can I also use another character point? Something?
I think you cannot combine character points and force points.
Got it, okay. So I'm gonna use a force point. And do I roll strength twice?
Yes, but only the first wild die will count, just so you know.
Okay, sounds good. Cool. It's happening!
Alright.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Alright.
There's a 33 total.
So, on a 33...
Oh no.
Drum roll, please. This is for all the tea and crumpets.
Oh no.
Work.
All of the mashed potatoes.
You're able to catch Alori. So T-Bone reaches out into the chasm on the bridge that's crumbling, grabs Alori, snatches them, pulls them back, falls onto the bridge, the part that still remains. Another shockwave rockets up from the chasm after you. I'm going to have you roll 2 things. They're going to be easier. That was an incredible feat of strength, and you just managed it against all odds, I swear. 1, you have been carrying Max Coolman this entire way, and T-Bone is starting to get tired, so roll me a stamina, which I believe is under strength as well.
Okay, don't tell me if I pass yet.
Will not.
Is it also double because it's a round or for the force point, or?
I'm gonna use a character point.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, that's... Yes.
Alright, so T-Bone is still at full strength. I was going to cost you some strength dice if you didn't succeed. You did. Now, the next strength roll, which is significantly easier than catching the Alori, but still difficult, you're going to roll yourself and Alori back onto the platform. We're going to do a raw strength roll for that. So onto the other side of the chasm.
The 17. Oh, with a wild die.
Oh, nice. All right. And you successfully roll a Lori free as the next shockwave comes up and smashes the rest of the bridge.
Where are we? Did we make it yet? Or
Yeah.
one more?
So you've made it to the other side of the bridge. I think I would not be a fair GM if I made you roll again. You've succeeded time after time. You roll free onto the other side of the platform. However,
And then Lori hops in.
however, during the roll, the shockwave did send a shard of rock smashing into a Lori. They are unconscious. They're not dead. So they will need to be carried out of here. And it seems to all of you that it's of the utmost imperative to you that you run now.
I can carry a Lori.
Good job, T-Bone! Yeah!
Yeah.
Incredible!
I think we should get back to the ship now.
We are running.
Plan.
I'm so hungry.
We're
Oh my
running.
god.
All right. So Sebastian, you're gonna roll me a strength roll.
What's my strength again?
And T-Bone, you'll roll me one to carry Max up the stairs unless someone else is picking him up. You passed your stamina check with satisfaction to me, so I'm not going to
16.
say that T-Bone is weakened. All right, so
Okay.
you managed to carry both of them up the stairs. You all managed to exit the temple.
I had a crit fail on the strength that might have been more of a drag.
And as you exit, you notice just as you get to the top of the stairs, the bird that you saw circling sort of dives wildly into the chasm. Yeah. And with that, you make it back to the surface. As you reemerge onto the surface of Korriban, you look up at the sky and you realize that since you have entered, there's a space battle above Korriban has begun. It seems like there are two Sith armadas who have started duking it out over the surface of the world. So they're blasting each other. It's wild. And T-Bone's comlink rings off the hook.
So you get a phone ringing. Are you gonna answer?
Oh yes, yeah.
Cool. So answering the comlink, an image of Captain Min pops up. Ensign Bonneville, report.
Yes, Captain. We found some information, but we did not find the holocron. And there's a big monster. Everyone is safe. We have a captive.
Wonderful. I'm glad that everyone is safe. It sounds like your way back may be destroyed. I hear a bit of fighting in the background. Are you somewhere else on the surface?
We're above ground.
Send me your coordinates and we can take off and pick you up. Tell me where you plan to go next and I'll have Commander Raid make the jump calculation while we travel to you. We will need to get wherever we're going quickly before we get caught up in whatever war someone has started here.
Anyone know where we should head?
We need to figure that out. Should we go to the Sith Academy?
I'll just respond and say, sending my coordinates now. Next destination TBD.
All right. So just mechanically, the last thing you have to do in this session is tell me where you're going.
My vote's for Felucia.
Where is that?
Where is that?
Who? Where?
Where? It's
So there were
in
three
the galaxy.
options presented by the holocron. I don't know. Did you all detail
Oh.
to Gom and T-Bone what happened when you saw the vision? I can't remember.
Sure.
Oh wait.
Sure, we did.
We were all
Oh.
running. Yeah. I think we would kind of give you that there's three options before us, and to tell you the general location, but we will tell you once we're all safe in the ship. But yeah, so we can go to Dathomir, we can stay on Korriban Academy, and we can go to Felucia to see the Shine. Dedicated only to the sun. All 3 locations show that the holocon's there.
Again, my vote's for Felucia.
To go to another shrine?
Yes. And
What do you hope to find in the shrine? Like,
that sounds where the most evil's gonna happen. This is a shrine dedicated to the sun, and I do have to go right now. So you have 1 vote for Felucia, wherever you decide to go. That's it. Okay. Bye. Thanks for DMing both Caleb and Andy.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. So, yeah.
I think Gom doesn't want to make any decisions for the Jedi.
Callow is very confused and not sure what to do, and is just going to look towards his master.
just the fact that there's each of these are a possibility, and each of these makes sense because you can take the holocron to. Well, wait. The holocron taken to the temple. The holocron is basically a book. So why would they take it to the shrine?
So only one of the visions included where the holocron went. There's sort of just 3 different things you can interact with that the cult is doing. There are 3 different directions that it went in.
I see.
The holocron you saw in the vision going to the academy on Korriban.
That's right. It's the only option with the actual holocron.
However,
Do we want to?
I was just going to say the holocron was in the Jedi possession, so it is only the most important objective if you think it's the most important objective.
I think Felucia might be the answer. Cause we need to find the source of this. So I think Felucia does make sense.
So this is more of a meta question. In that vision, did we see those 2 Sith desecrating the temple, or was it already desecrated by the time they got there?
So you didn't really investigate that while you were in the temple, but from your memory, you don't remember anything that looked like it was recent. There were no shards of stone, so it probably wasn't them.
Okay.
Probably
and in the
has to be
vision,
the deeper history of the temple and of the Sith in general.
Right. In the vision, they were looking to find the shrine on Felucia. So they're looking for it.
Yep.
Let's go to the shrine.
All right, so the party will depart for Felucia in our next episode. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the stream there. Our VOD will be available soon on Twitch and a little bit later on YouTube. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Always feel free to follow. Thanks for the sub, for the follow, for the people that did that, if you're still around. Thanks for chatting and hanging out with us. Until next time, take care.